St. Louis, KMOX FM, Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. An arrest in the murders of an Arkansas couple killed on a walk through Devil's Den State Park with their young daughters.
We were able to take a monster off the streets and bring relief to Clinton and Kristen's precious girls.
Their daughters escaped. State Police Colonel Mike Hager says 28-year-old Andrew McGann's been charged with 2 counts of capital murder in the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink. Officials say he was arrested at a barber shop in Springdale. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
I want to be clear that if you commit a violent, senseless act here in our state, our law enforcement will hunt you down and bring you to justice.
No word on a motive. President Trump says now's the time for countries to make tariff deals before it's too late. The White House says 11 of the U.S. top 15 trading partners already have. South Korea, the latest. CBS's Jared Hill.
President Donald Trump posted online that South Korean imports will be taxed at 15%, adding Seoul will invest $350 billion in the U.S. and purchase $100 billion in energy products.
Money is going to pour into the United States like we've never seen before.
The president is promising to raise tariffs on most international goods this Friday.
The president's just posted to Truth Social, tariffs are making the U.S. great and rich again. Mr. Trump says a new decision by Canada could hurt the country's chances of a trade deal. Mark Carney joining French and British leaders announcing recognition of a Palestinian state.
This intention is predicated on the Palestinian Authority's commitment to much-needed reform, including commitments by the Palestinian Authority's President Abbas to fundamentally reform its governance, to hold general elections in 2026, in which Hamas can play no part.
It comes amid fears of a potential mass starvation in Gaza. A second day of hearings gets underway in a few hours on January's deadly mid-air collision between an Army helicopter and an American Airlines flight. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy testified yesterday.
There is a possibility that what the crew saw was very different than what the true altitude was. We did testing in May that shows concerns with the altimeters.
Chances are your ticker's older than you are, CBS's Bradley Blackburn explains.
Researchers at Northwestern University calculated people's heart age based on their risk for cardiovascular disease. They found men on average had a heart age 7 years older than their actual age, and women's hearts were 4 years older on average than their real age.
Dow futures up 145. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit progressive.com today.
It is currently 6:03, cloudy skies, 72 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and the news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. It was all over a simple postcard. KMOX's Michael Calhoun begins our coverage of the indictment of St. Louis County Executive Sam Page.
Page said the postcard was a legally allowed, impartial, informational mailer with basic facts about Proposition B, a measure that would have given the county council power to fire some of his political appointments. It was a contentious issue between the branches of government. Page was fiercely against it. At the last council meeting, he reacted.
I can't imagine that anyone has done anything wrong. I will cooperate fully with the investigation.
The mailer in question, which led to a complaint with the Secretary of State, eventually an Attorney General investigation, now the grand jury indictment, says at the top, what is Proposition B? It lays out a yes vote. That means department heads would answer to 8 bosses with conflicting policies, positions, and priorities. A no vote, it says, ensures qualified professionals run county departments without political interference. The mailer cost more than $25,000 to produce, print, and distribute. 50,000 were sent out.
I'm Sean Malone outside the county offices in Clayton, where I spoke to County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb. She believes County Executive Sam Page should resign after being indicted.
This process is going to be hard for him to juggle his personal distraction right now and also be the leader the county needs.
St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock was almost removed from office by then prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell. He says he's not going to call on County Executive Page to resign.
I saw the way that I was treated by the county executive and others during that process. I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. He is entitled to his day in court.
St. Louis University political science professor Dr. Christopher Duncan notes it hasn't been a smooth ride of late for Sam Page.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think this is just bringing the dirty laundry out into the public even more, right? It looks, I think from most perspectives, a little dysfunctional to say the least. And I think that the tension between, Mr. Page and the council has been palatable for a long time. And this is just the latest iteration of that.
I'm Maria Kina. Now that County Executive Dr. Sam Page has been indicted, we asked KMOX legal analyst Brad Young about the most serious crime, a felony charge, and if convicted of stealing St. Louis County postage of about $30,000.
That's the most serious crime, and that in of itself could result in jail time between 3 and 10 years in prison. That's according to state sentencing guidelines.
Now, according to revised statutes of Missouri, it states if a person is convicted or pleads guilty to a felony, is disqualified for qualifying as a candidate, and forfeits any public office they hold upon conviction.
Page is the second consecutive county executive in St. Louis County to receive indictments. Steve Stenger resigned in April of 2019 and serves jail time for honest services bribery and mail fraud charges.
As many as 150 dogs found yesterday living in filthy conditions, their fur encrusted with feces and mud. The Humane Society's Animal Cruelty Task Force was dispatched to Christian County, Missouri, thanks to an anonymous tip about an animal hoarder. The owner agreed to surrender all of the dogs who are being taken to the Mackland Avenue location. The dogs are all Shih Tzus, Chihuahuas, and other small mixed breeds, many malnourished with skin issues due to neglect. They will be available for adoption once they receive a clean bill of health. In the meantime, the Humane Society is asking for donations of towels, blankets, and newspapers, as well as monetary donations for the dog's medical care. To make room at the shelter for all the rescues, they're waiving adoption fees on all dogs over 35 pounds.
It's 6:07. Only 3 projects were ever developed on the hundreds of acres in North St. Louis purchased by Paul McKee's Northside Regeneration. All 3 failed. And now the former Greenleaf Market and Zoom gas station and Mini Mart are in foreclosure and will be auctioned off on August 6th. But according to the Post-Dispatch, McKee says he is still in serious discussions with the lender and hopes to avert foreclosure and bring food back to the community. The other project was the Homer G. Phillips Memorial Hospital, which closed after less than a year and is the subject of numerous lawsuits.
We're less than a month away from the opening of a new amusement park within St. Louis Union Station.
This is Stuart McMillan. Thursday, August 28th is opening day for Wheel Park, which already features the 200-foot-tall Ferris wheel and now 3 new rides. The Flying Louie, a swinging pirate ship, which is $6.70 a ride, and that includes tax. The Wave Swinger, a classic high swings ride, also $6.70, and the Locomotion, a spinning train-themed roller coaster, $8.93 to ride. Those prices are listed on the website. Spokesman Cameron Schoeffel.
Everything we do here is a la carte. So, you'll be able to walk in. If you just want to ride the Wave Swinger for the day, you can do that. If you want to go to the aquarium and, do the spinning roller coaster and have the all-encompassing feel, you can do that as well.
Again, that opening day at Wheel Park is Thursday, August 28th.
This is KMOX religion editor Fred Bonimer. A well-known actor and comedian is in town, taking part in that big international Shroud of Turin conference just getting underway. I'll tell you who it is coming up.
That baby's gone!
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Selling your car online sounds easy. Snap a few pics, list a price, then what? Wait weeks? Haggle with strangers? At Suntrip Ford, we actually make it easy to sell your car. Visit Suntrip Ford Kirkwood or Westport, and our expert appraisers will give you a fast, fair offer on the spot. Or skip the trip and get an instant quote at suntripford.com. No guesswork, no games, just the best price. Visit suntripford.com today. Get more at Suntrip Ford.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10 and time for traffic and weather on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No complaints out there right now on the area highways, Debbie. Everything's good to go on both sides of the river. Now, they are doing emergency repair work westbound 70 around the 38-mile marker in Metro East, but not enough volume there to bother anybody, so it looks good there right now. And in the around the clockwork zones like 55 northbound at McNutt and north of Bayless, everything's good to go. 270 around Ladue, 64 between Winghaven and Kays on the move. That I don't see that vehicle. They must have gotten back underway. There was a report of a vehicle in the median near Lake St. Louis Boulevard, but things are looking good for you there right now as well. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly cloudy today and much cooler than recent days. A shower or two around mainly through the morning hours. It'll be breezy at times as well, the high 78. Clearing and cooler tonight, though, 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with low humidity and a high of 80. For Saturday, more sun than clouds, the high again near 80. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, mostly cloudy and 74 downtown at the Arch. The weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance. And by checking Allstate first, those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 6:12, and thankfully things are cooling off a bit, but the mercury had been soaring high, like the electric bills of Ameren, Missouri customers. According to Ameren's customer advocacy manager, Paige Selby, a 12% rate increase took effect. Kilowatts cost more in the summer, and usage has increased.
So we kind of had all of those things hitting at the same time. I think we're all seeing our bills are a little bit higher.
Some customers claim bills have been hitting mailboxes that are much higher than the 12% hike. Sandra Padgett with the Consumer Council of Missouri tells KMOX Senate Bill 4 signed into law takes effect August 28th, where Spire, American Water, and Ackerman, Missouri will all begin increasing their bills.
They can try to apply for one of the Ackerman low-income customer assistance programs. Nevertheless, we have been told that currently those programs are hard to access.
Cool Down St. Louis is a nonprofit that has no administrative costs that are skimmed off the top. Every dollar they collect goes to helping pay those bills. Senator Carla May tells KMOX she's going to find out why Ackerman customers' electric bills have skyrocketed beyond the 12% rate increase.
The number of Illinoisans without car insurance is a problem.
Last year, our office cited more than 630,000 Illinois drivers without auto insurance. Think about it, 630,000 drivers on our roads without car insurance.
Secretary of State Alexi Janulius wants to encourage more people to get insurance by making it more affordable. He says fairer for them to get coverage. He'd do that by banning companies from considering socioeconomic data to calculate rates.
In fact, an Illinois driver with good credit and a DUI will get a lower premium than a driver with poor credit and no DUI.
The insurance industry is against this, but Janulius is asking people to share their stories with state legislators.
A comedian visiting the International Shroud of Turin conference, now underway in St. Louis.
Nearly 50 shroud experts and researchers are here for the 3-day conference at the Augustine Institute in North County. Actor and comedian Rob Schneider will take part in a special panel featuring former atheists, agnostics, and skeptics whose faith was bolstered by the shroud.
It's a reawakening of faith for me and for so many others.
Schneider is working on a movie based on the Shroud of Turin. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Let's get our coverage started with Matt Pauley. Matt Pauley with the start of our coverage, and the trade deadline is later today.
The Cardinals made their first deadline deal prior to their 2-0 loss to the Marlins, trading closer Ryan Helsley to the Mets for a package of prospects. Manager Oliver Marmol understands the trade, but is sad to lose Helsley, whose 105 saves rank 6th in franchise history.
Sucks to see him go. It's part of it. We knew it was coming, but having the conversation definitely isn't the easiest. But this is a guy that's done so much for the org. I mean, he really has. You look at the last few years, his ability to post and pitch in meaningful spots. That's a tough role as a closer because everything falls on you. When things are rolling, you feel good about it, but you have to have some pretty thick skin when it doesn't. And he did a really nice job of taking that role and running with it. It was good to see his growth. And then off the field as well, man, he started to do some things for the community that were meaningful and have an impact there.
The Cardinals collect another prospect with their second trade of the night, sending Steven Matz to Boston. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Yeah, Matt, that prospect is intriguing. Blaze Jordan, minor league first baseman from the Red Sox. He's 22 years old. He was the third-round pick of the Red Sox in 2020. Yes, that was 5 years ago, but he was a high school sensation. DeSoto Central High School in South Haven, Mississippi. That's a city outside of the Cardinals' AAA affiliate in Memphis, and the high school that produced Braves third baseman Austin Riley. This season, Jordan is batting .308 with 12 home runs and 62 RBIs to add to his 22 doubles. Right-handed hitter boasts a .377 on-base percentage and .872 OPS. He began the season in AA Portland and then ascended to AAA Worcester. At the time of the trade, Jordan is leading all full-season Red Sox minor leaguers in batting, RBIs, total bases. He ranks second in runs, extra base hits, slugging percentage, and he's fourth in home runs. Defensively, he's played both corner infield positions in his professional career. He's perhaps best known for going viral when he was a teenager. As early as 11, he was hitting 400-foot home runs. And then in high school, he won a national home run derby in which he was popping home runs at a eye-popping 500-plus feet. And his videos were making his way around social media. Matt's, meanwhile, is a swingman, wants to be a starter. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year, but right now he's mostly been a reliever. He's pitched in 84 games over 4 seasons for the Cardinals, and Matt gave you the Ryan Helsley perspective. As the Cardinals move forward today, it's probably going to be Phil Maton. He's the next one who is not only coveted by other teams, but his contract is about to expire. So the trade deadline will come and go at 5 o'clock today. We have coverage at the top of every hour. And of course, here on Total Information AM and on the Gas House Gang and on the Redbird Rush Hour as we roll along this morning on KMOX. The Cardinals lost 2-0 last night to the Marlins. They now head to San Diego after a day off today. They'll start a weekend series out there with a new look team on August 1st. I'm Tom Ackerman. What's on deck? And the call of the game sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
Have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS? This is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you are ready to sell your St. Louis area home and you want to sell it for top dollar, the first thing you make sure to do is have the right agent. I know it seems like, I could just go with my brother-in-law's friend, right? No, you should probably interview some agents. Definitely call Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888. You can also ask Gloria for an upfront in writing guaranteed sale. She takes all the stress out of it. How many agents will guarantee that they will sell your house or they'll buy it themselves? Gloria will do that. Also, she will guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. So you have literally nothing to lose and everything to gain. A quick sale, top dollar, and written guarantees with Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date. 314-325-6888, or find her online now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
620 and Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's an easygoing Thursday morning so far this morning, Tom. This traffic reports a service of Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. If you're traveling in out Wentzville Way, southbound 61 down onto 64 or 70 eastbound, and looking good across the Missouri River bridges on the south side, northbound 55 around McNutt, north of Bayless, and the work zone, still nothing doing there. North 270 from 55 up through Gravel Lane at the northern end, up at the work zone, both ways through Ladue. Everything's quiet and on the go downtown. Westbound, we're in good shape across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. They did reopen Route 4 north of Lebanon. They did that yesterday afternoon, so if you didn't realize it, you can use that for the morning's commute. I do see a little bit of a backup. It looks like we have a crash right now in Metro East. It's westbound 64 at Damiensville, just west of there. So just at Albers Road, just a little west of Albers. So be prepared if you're headed that way. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
All right, the weather, much easier to deal with. The storm that came through, which really wasn't much of a storm yesterday, did take the sweltering temperatures with. So today's high, 78 degrees. Yeah, that's the high today. It's going to be mostly cloudy. We could see a shower or two, breezy, and 78 degrees, 61 overnight. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny, low humidity, and a high of 80. It's 74 degrees now in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 622. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. The indictment, secured by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, says in a statement, "I conducted this investigation into Sam Page's alleged misuse of public funds because the people of St. Louis County deserve accountability, not corruption." Page is accused of spending public funds to mail a postcard to voters, which the indictment claims was politically motivated. The flyer appears to advocate voters oppose Proposition B, which would have allowed the council input on Page appointments.
KMOX caught up with Council Chair Rita Days. She opposed Page using taxpayer funds for the allegedly anti-Prop B mailer, but did she think the repercussions would rise to criminal charges?
Did you think it crossed the line to where County Executive Page might have done something illegal?
I think that in my mind was politics 101. You learn from the beginning that you don't use governmental resources for any kind of campaign. I've served in the House, I've served in the Senate, I've served on the school board, and that was kind of drilled into your head from day one. You do not mix those kinds of things. So I did not think it was correct, and made sure that I said that to the county executive.
The Trump administration has relied on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to circumvent Congress in imposing its sweeping tariffs worldwide, claiming national emergencies to do so. But today, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit will hear oral arguments in a lawsuit challenging that authority. Small business owners suing the president say the 1977 law cannot be used to impose tariffs which they say could hurt their bottom line. Here's CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum with more.
This is another case that challenges President Trump's constitutional authority and the separation of powers. The Supreme Court is likely to take this case up next term. Congress is given the power over the purse. Tariffs and taxes are part of Congress's mandate. The International Emergency Economic Powers Act has never before been used by an American president to leverage tariffs as a matter of foreign policy.
Despite pressure from the Trump administration, the Federal Reserve says it's keeping its benchmark interest rate unchanged, citing elevated uncertainty, including the potential impact of the Trump administration's tariffs on consumer prices.
The Bureau of Economic Analysis released preliminary data on GDP between April and June, which appears to have surged after shrinking in the first 3 months of the year. CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes.
President Trump repeatedly hailed the new GDP numbers, which showed stronger than expected economic growth over the past 3 months. But across town, the Federal Reserve Chair was issuing this warning.
Higher tariffs have begun to show through more clearly to prices of some goods.
Chair Jerome Powell cited Trump's tariffs as a driving force behind the Fed's decision to leave interest rates unchanged for 7 straight months.
We're keeping the rates high, and it's hurting people from buying houses.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley was the lone Republican vote to advance his bill banning stock trading for those elected to federal offices. This got him called a second-rate senator by President Trump. By the way, Hawley's bill would impact Congress.
We have an opportunity here today to do something that the public has wanted us to do for decades, and that is to ban members of Congress from profiting on information that, frankly, only members of Congress have in the buying and selling of stock.
The bill would force lawmakers to divest from the stock market. Hawley argues it's essential for restoring public trust. The bill faces an uncertain future in the full Senate. Hawley told Fox News last night that his bill does not affect the president or vice president.
Step to it. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. A new study finds taking 7,000 steps a day goes a long way in lowering America's growing risk of dementia. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel.
It's going up largely because of how sedentary people are and that they don't interact enough and that they don't eat proper diets. And then there are genetic predispositions. But that's why this study on 7,000 steps out of Lancet Public Health, that's out of Sydney, Australia, looking at 57 other studies, is so dramatic that if you have a genetic predisposition towards dementia, especially, and you exercise regularly with walking, that you can decrease that risk by 20 or 30%. Now, we're not talking about strolling here. We're talking about real brisk walking, heel to toe. Do it in the morning, especially if it's 100 degrees, because we don't want other health issues. Do the walking in the morning. That's about 3.5 miles a day, which is much more in reach for some people than 10,000 steps was, which was more arbitrary. Thus, 7,000 steps is associated with 47% less death over a 10-year period, less heart disease, less depression, and as you said, less dementia.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It's 6:28 and the Time Check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Today's July 31st. It's the last day for the sweepstakes, the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. If you need a new garage door, this is it. This is your day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for one more day. A winner will be chosen at random after this to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. All you have to do is go to Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, and then you enter to win the $5,000 sweepstakes. OverheadDoorSt.Louis.com. You can't win if you don't enter. OverheadDoorSt.Louis.com. And you'll love the company. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been installing garage doors for about a century. They invented the overhead garage door. They've been here since 1926. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is Just call Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-770-0850. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-770-0850. 800-770-0850.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You've heard of Old Town Donuts, but did you know they were voted the best donut shop in America? That's right, and they've got 2 locations right here in Florissant and Cottleville. Stop by Old Town Donuts today and see why they're the best donuts in the country.
It is 6:30 and we've got cloudy skies. It's 74 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are cruising along pretty nicely, Tom. We do have a little bit of a delay right now. Westbound 64 at Damiensville, Albers Road. There's a crash just west of there, so there's a short jam up through the area. Not too extensive, but once you get past that point, it's clear sailing all the way into downtown. Yesterday afternoon, they reopened Route 4 north of Lebanon, so that's available for your morning commute this morning. Coming in from the west side, southbound 61, eastbound 64, eastbound 70, all look great out of Wentzville. Across the Missouri River bridges on the south side, we're still okay. Northbound 55 at McNutt through Butler Hill, north of Bayless up the river to Pear, everything looks great. North 270, fine from 55 up through the Gravois area, both directions in the work zone between Ladue and 64. Everything's still on the move for you as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, it's 74 degrees out there right now, and the best news is it's not going to get much warmer. It's going to be a high today of 78 degrees. Mostly cloudy, a shower or two. It'll be breezy, and again, high of 78 today. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, low humidity, high of 80. It's 74 right now.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page indicted by a grand jury. KMOX's Michael Calhoun reports.
The charges have to do with a controversial mailer that was sent out before the election on Prop B in April. That's a measure that would have given the county council more control over the people Page appoints to serve as the heads of departments. Governments are only supposed to spend taxpayer dollars on mailers that are informational and impartial about measures, and Page said that's what this was. But critics contended the postcards were blatantly against Prop B, saying a yes vote means directors could be fired during emergencies, and a no vote means stable leadership. The bottom said paid for by St. Louis County. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey in a statement says, quote, any intentional misuse of taxpayer dollars in an attempt to rig the outcome of an election is illegal. Page at Tuesday's council meeting said,
I can't imagine that anyone has done anything wrong. I will cooperate fully with the investigation.
By the way, the outcome of the election that this mailer was all about, Prop B was defeated by the voters 61 to 38%.
We've heard multiple references to the prior county executive, Steve Stenger, who went to federal prison facing charges. He resigned. St. Louis University political science professor Christopher Duncan, what potentially goes into these very personal decisions by politicians?
Each of those cases, you would have to ask the individual themselves why they landed there. You know, you always hope that they're doing it for principled reasons, but, you know, obviously I think there are there's at least one member of the council who has talked openly about maybe running in a primary against Mr. Page. And so, you know, you can't discount the fact that there are politics being played here as well.
Later this fall, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department will have a new tool to fight crime.
Down here in Jefferson County, we're incredibly excited about the future of crime fighting in this community.
Undersheriff Lieutenant Colonel Tim Whitney speaking about the new crime lab being built in Herculaneum with $11 million in ARPA funds.
The building and construction is nearly done.
The state crime lab is often stuffed to the brim with work, but later this year, deputies in Jeffco won't have to send things like DNA tests and requests for toxicology reports out of the county.
We hope to have things moving, by fall. How long it takes for some of those other processes to play out is yet to be seen.
And police departments outside of Jefferson County will be able to run their tests there as well. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing immunotherapy and how an innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Joining us is Dr. John DiPersio, WashU Medicine bone marrow transplant specialist with Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. DiPersio, it's great to have you on KMOX.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Your international immunotherapy clinical trial at WashU Medicine. Could you tell us about that?
Instead of using one patient's T cells to treat their own lymphoma, costing $1 million, in this situation, you can use a donor's T cells to treat multiple patients. So it changes both an approach to these diseases, but also the economics of these complicated and expensive immunotherapies.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
It is 6:35, and this is Total Information AM. It's time for your Money Report, which is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
Good morning. Trouble in Techland. The Cyberspace Administration of China has summoned U.S. tech darling and AI chipmaker NVIDIA. Chinese authorities want to discuss alleged security risks related to some of its H20 chips, citing comments by U.S. lawmakers about the need to install tracking capabilities into advanced chips sold to other countries. Have you purchased a used car lately? Because it looks like the used car business is even better than some thought. Carvana reporting better than expected quarterly sales and fatter than expected profits. It sold a record of more than 143,000 vehicles to retail buyers this year. That's more than 40% more than a year ago, as prices on new cars increased and interest rates stayed painfully high for some. And speaking of interest rates, they're staying right where they are for now. The Fed yesterday left interest rates unchanged and cited the possible inflation risk from tariffs, though the Fed also indicated that impact could be temporary. With your Money Report, I'm Denise Pellegrini with Bloomberg Business on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:38, and a new report reveals the U.S. has lost 75% of its local journalists since 2002. KMOX asked Steve Waldman, founder and president of Rebuild Local News, how that impacts our daily lives.
There's all sorts of evidence now that when there's a vacuum created by the contraction of local news, it's filled by social media and by national news. So it's more polarizing, more division, and more misinformation as well. So all those things that we don't like are connected to this local news crisis.
Why are we losing local journalists? Waldman says advertisers that used to support local news are now buying their ads online.
I'm Larry Magid with the Connect Safely report. An increasing number of young people are being targeted by scams designed to exploit them. And if this happens to someone you love, don't blame the victim. Connect Safely Education Director Carrie Gallagher helped draft recommendations from the Online Child Exploitation Prevention Initiative.
The overall message of any prevention program should be that
when and if this happens to you, we've got your back. And the people who perpetrate these particular types of schemes are very good at what they do. So when and if it does happen to you, just know it's not your fault and we want to support you.
So regardless of whether the victim is a child or an adult, it's important to realize that the victim is not to blame. Try to put aside any feelings of shame or guilt and seek help. More at connectsafely.org/radio. With the Connect Safely Report, I'm Larry Magid for CBS News.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 6:40 and time for us to check traffic and weather. It'll be interesting this morning as you head out the door because it's cloudy for one, and it's not sweltering, and it's not going to get much warmer than it is right now. We've got details on the weather coming up in just a minute. But first, let's let you know here if there's something you need to avoid on your ride in. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, nothing per se, but there is a little bit of a delay in Metro East right now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Metro Transit. That's that crash I've been talking about, westbound 64, just west of Albers Road, just west of Damiensville. There's a little bit of a backup through there. And in that general vicinity, I mentioned that Route 4 north of Lebanon reopened yesterday afternoon, while Route 160 north of New Baden, in that same general vicinity that we're just talking about now, that's still closed. That roadwork project is still ongoing. That's the only issue we have on the interstates. There's a little volume on the Missouri side of the river. North 270, Doherty Ferry to Manchester, a little bit slow. And eastbound Highway 30 approaching Mauer to 270 going up the hill, a little busy. It looks a little more crowded as well on southbound 61 at Wentzville Parkway, but overall not bad. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
All summer long, Metro Day Passes from Metro Transit are just $5, so you can take a summer daycation anytime because your air-conditioned, no-gas to buy super safe, super clean Chariot awaits. Buy yours at metrostlouis.org. That's metrostl.org.
6:41, and let's take a look at the forecast. And for once, our AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg doesn't have to tell us about sweltering heat.
No, we've been talking about 90-degree heat day after day after day. I mean, I think the last time we didn't have 90 degrees was back on the 21st, and that was just one day out of a bunch. But today, and for the next 5 or 6 days, we're not anywhere close to the 90-degree mark. In fact, today we might even get to 80 with clouds much of the time and even a brief shower or two, mainly this morning. There'll be a steady breeze out of the north, and eventually humidity starts to go down too. 78 or high. Tonight clears out by morning. We're down in the low 60s. Sunny and beautiful tomorrow with low humidity. You couldn't have a better day for the 1st of August. The high 80. Sunshine and some clouds. Another gem on Saturday. The high 80. Sunshine, some clouds up to 84 on Sunday. A bit more humid with more clouds around on Monday, but still probably dry. The high 86. Right now it's 73 at St. Peter's, and in Florissant, it's mostly cloudy, 75 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It is now 6:42. This is Total Information AM. Will Missouri redraw congressional maps as President Trump wants to add another Republican seat?
With mounting pressure from the White House and the Missouri Freedom Caucus, Governor Mike Kehoe says they are having conversations about whether to call an extraordinary session. Kehoe says he won't commit to anything quite yet, but did say this.
Anything that the state of Missouri can do to support Speaker Johnson and the other Republicans in the U.S. Congress, I think is really important.
Kehoe says the values Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Democrats would bring to the House should it flip doesn't match Missouri's values. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Is your AI chatbot the same as a doctor, lawyer, therapist when it comes to protecting your personal thoughts and information? OpenAI founder Sam Altman is suggesting it should. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says the legal system hasn't approached this issue yet.
Things that are said in those relationships are private. They are concealed from discovery and litigation. And Sam Altman is stating that we should have the same with AI. Now, that would be an enormous leap.
Yet Young adds, we may get to that point someday, but not anytime soon. Altman warned ChatGPT users this week that anything you say to the chatbot could be used in court. A new Microsoft report lists the jobs that are safest from AI.
The tech giant looked at anonymous conversations between its AI chatbot, Microsoft Bing Copilot, and its users, and found workers who use AI the least and have the most AI-safe jobs include nursing assistants, painters, embalmers, and tire repairers. Dr. Nariman Farvardin, president of Stevens Institute of Technology, says students need to learn more than skills.
We try to teach students a way to learn on their own for the rest of their lives.
He says people who can innovate alongside AI will be successful. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Spirit Airlines is going through another round of pilot furloughs. The airline, which flies out of St. Louis Lambert International to Las Vegas, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale, is furloughing 270 pilots and downgrading another 140 captains in an effort to remain profitable. Spirit already went through several rounds of pilot furloughs last fall and then again in January. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in December. An attempt in January to merge with JetBlue was blocked by a federal judge. The JCPenney store at Mid-Rivers Mall in St. Peters is part of an all-cash sale to a private equity firm in Boston. The deal is expected to close in September. JCPenney filed for bankruptcy 5 years ago and closed more than 200 locations. It's 6:45. We're going to take another look at the forecast coming up in about 5 minutes, but I can tell you that as you are getting up this morning, the temperature, 74 degrees downtown. It's only going to get about 4 degrees higher. Yeah, you heard me right. It's only going to be about 78 degrees today. More details on what's to come over the next 5 days next after sports with Tom Ackerman.
Let's begin our coverage with KMOX's Matt Pauley at the trade deadline.
500 on June 29th. With last night's 2-0 loss to the Marlins, they're back to 500 for the first time since May 7th and have gone 1-6-1 over their last 8 series. Manager Oliver Marmol says this is part of having a young team.
You're evaluating consistency, especially with this young group. You want to see them hold their good moments for longer than a week, longer for 2 weeks. You want to see how long they can actually stretch this out. And you're going to have ups and downs with this group. That's part of having a young roster, but you're evaluating their ability to kind of shorten the times it's not going well and make adjustments quicker. And as you get deeper into the season, that's important. Up to this point, we've seen a lot of that up and down individually and collectively. You're continuing to evaluate their ability to just hold their good adjustments for longer than what we're seeing at the moment.
The Cardinals have been shut out in 2 straight games and are on a 19-inning scoreless streak. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, here are some more young players to evaluate. Their names are Jesus Baez, Nate Dome, and Frank Ellisault. Those are the players acquired from the New York Mets for reliever Ryan Helsley. The closer goes into the pennant race with the Mets. For Baez, who was signed by the Mets out of the Dominican Republic when he was 17 years old, he is an infielder with power, smacked 30 home runs, stole 29 bases in 241 minor league games. He ranks second on Single-A Brooklyn right now with 10 home runs. Dome is a right-handed pitcher that came out of Mississippi State University in the 3rd round last year. He's a strikeout pitcher, as is Ellisault, who was a 19th round pick of the Mets. Helsley, the longest tenured Cardinal, goes to New York. And then late last night, Steven Matz was traded to the Boston Red Sox for an intriguing prospect, first baseman Blaze Jordan. He was the Red Sox 3rd round pick. Who picked him? Chaim Bloom, who will take over as president of baseball operations. He selected Jordan in the 2020 MLB draft. He is a power hitter. He's hitting .308 with 12 home runs and 62 RBIs to add to his 22 doubles. And if you do a little search for Blaze Jordan on social media, you'll see him as a teenager hitting 400 and 500-foot bombs when he was a kid. He was signing autographs in school as a viral sensation in home run derbies, etc. He is from just outside of Memphis, so that'll be a welcome sight for Memphis Redbird fans to see Blaze Jordan arrive on the scene. Cardinals have the day off today. They visit the Padres tomorrow. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Growing Gardens, Making Memories. St. Louis Composting is the name of the company. It was great to invite them into the KMOX family this year and into our family. They dropped off mulch at our home that has made our yard and our landscaping look that much better. St. Louis Composting. They have organic yard waste that they transform, so branches, leaves, grass clippings, into premium compost. Soil blends, mulches as well available. You can go to one of their 9 facilities in St. Louis or order online for convenient delivery, whether it's bulk compost or just a few bags. It's St. Louis Composting to your home or job site. 9 area locations. You can find them online at stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. Heads to Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Reich. Register to win great prizes. Enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be, Thursday, August 7th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50 and time for another check of the roadways. If there's anything that could be causing you some problems, Roger Brand's probably aware of it. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest.
Well, the interstate trouble spot, the only one we have out there right now, Debbie, is in Metro East. This traffic reports service at McKelvey Homes. I'm still seeing delays on westbound 64 through Albers Road in the Damiensville area because of a crash. So just be advised of that. Once you get past that point, westbound 64 is wide open all the way across the Poplar Street Bridge. On the Missouri side of the river, we have slow traffic from about Big Bend up to Manchester now on northbound 270, north 55 through McNutt and north of Bayless. Still looks great. Eastbound 30 just kind of busy up the hill from Mauer Industrial to 270. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or eastbound 70 coming out of Wentzville. Everything's moving without delays for you there so far as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Weather from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. It's going to be a good day today, mostly cloudy and cooler than in recent days. Might get a shower or two, breezy at times, high 78. Clearing and cooler tonight, a low of 61. And how about this? Tomorrow, sunny and pleasant, low humidity, high 80. Saturday, sunshine, nice, high 80. Sunday, pleasant with sunshine and just a few clouds, a high of 84 degrees. Currently, it's cloudy and 74 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52 and the news continues. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey secured the indictment, stating the people of St. Louis County deserve accountability, not corruption. Page is accused of using public funds to mail a politically motivated postcard urging voters to oppose Prop B, which would have allowed the county council's input on Page appointments.
I'm Sean Malone in Clayton, where I just spoke with St. Louis County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb, a Democrat, who was asked if she believes County Executive Sam Page should resign in light of being indicted.
The previous county executive resigned immediately so that the county has a chance to recover and move forward. And I believe this county executive should do the same.
As for St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock, a Republican,
I'm not going to call for County Executive Page to resign. That's his decision to make.
We're asking KMOX legal analyst Brad Young to break down what the indictment of County Executive Page means.
Class 4 election offenses are 2 of the charges Dr. Page is facing, but there is the felony charge of stealing in excess of $25,000.
Typically with misdemeanors, particularly for someone who is a first-time offender, then the misdemeanor charges oftentimes involve no jail time or minimal jail time or even probation. If you look at the a felony charge of being convicted for stealing, and it involves county postage, of approximately $30,000. That's the most serious crime. And that in of itself could result in jail time between 3 and 10 years in prison.
And Brad Young says Missouri statute states if a person is convicted or pleads guilty to a felony, they are disqualified for qualifying as a candidate. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Bayless Bridge is back open.
I confirmed that with Dave Rohn with St. Louis County Department of Transportation. This is Stuart McMillan. Work began last fall on the Bayless Bridge, not far from the Bayless exit on I-55. The intent was to keep the road open at least on one side as the new bridge was built, but a harsh winter caused the bridge deck to crumble, so they had to close the whole thing down. The double-span bridge has now been replaced with a single span and is now taking traffic.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Big happy birthday to a great guy, one of the funniest guys in the Cardinals organization, but also one of the smartest, assistant general manager and runs the draft, Randy Flores, who pitched for the Cardinals. Maybe you forget he's a world champion from 2006. Flo turns the big 5-0 today. Happy birthday to Randy Flores.
Celebrity birthdays are sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. If you would like a birthday or anniversary announced, send it to totalam@KMOX.com, totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes to Emily Bear. Happy 28th wedding anniversary to Joe and Tammy Rademacher of O'Fallon, Illinois. Happy birthday wishes, Fran Wersch from your friends. And happy birthday to Carol Hinkle.
Happy birthday, Mark Cuban.
We'd love to work with you. I know you would, and I would too.
He's known for Shark Tank, but he's also a billionaire entrepreneur, 67. Also, my fellow IU Hoosier, Mark Cuban. Zach Brown.
And a little bit of chicken fried.
He is 47 today.
A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio.
It's 6:56.
This is the best birthday ever.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Let's get you caught up on this top of the hour check of traffic from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the backup hasn't gotten any worse, Debbie, but there's still delays westbound 64 coming through Albers Road in Damiansville. Backed up traffic there due to a crash. So it's, maybe a quarter, half mile at most of heavy traffic, not a complete jam. So that's good news. Other than that, the rest of the highways look really pretty good. The only delays, North 270 right now, Big Bend through Doherty Ferry kind of slow, and then it picks up the pace after that. The other highways are looking good. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy and 74 degrees downtown. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is indicted.
We need to understand this is not a good day for St. Louis County, obviously.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Sean Malone spoke to members of the county council following the indictment.
Do you believe that he should resign?
I believe that the county executive needs to do what's in the best interest for he and his family at this particular point.
What could this indictment mean for St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page? I'm Maria Aquino with the story.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly cloudy today and much cooler than recent days with a shower or two, mainly this morning. Our high 78.
Cardinals trade Ryan Helsley for 3 prospects, and then late last night, Steven Matz for an intriguing power-hitting first baseman.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We're learning more about Andrew McGann, the 28-year-old arrested at a barbershop in Arkansas in the murders of a husband and wife in Devil's Kill State Park in front of their 2 young daughters who managed to escape. Correspondent Omar Villafranca is in Springdale.
McGann recently worked as a 5th grade teacher in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and our CBS affiliate in Tulsa got a statement from the district saying he left on his own and he had passed all the background checks. So when it comes to a motive, police say they are still trying to piece it together.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
We ask that every Arkansan remember this family and lift them up in prayer and offer condolences and comfort to them in any way that you can.
No word on a motive. Time quickly running out for the nations that have not done so yet to reach deals to avoid President Trump's higher tariffs that kick in tomorrow. The White House says 11 top trading partners have already settled up. South Korea, the latest, agreeing to a 15% levy. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
A 15% rate, it sounds better than 25 or 50. But remember, if this really holds across all of these trading partners, this would be the highest tariff rate since the 1930s.
President Trump posted to Truth Social this morning, tariffs are making America great and rich again. Russia's hit Ukraine with a massive wave of drones, most targeting Kyiv, where a 6-year-old boy and his mother are among the 8 killed there. The BBC's Jonathan Beale is in the capital.
This comes after that warning from Donald Trump, reducing the timeline that Russia must respond, and it doesn't seem to have had much effect.
Worried you'll lose your job to artificial intelligence? New Microsoft report finds some are safer than others.
The tech giant looked at anonymous conversations between its AI chatbot, Microsoft Bing Copilot, and its users, and found workers who use AI the least and have the most AI-safe jobs include nursing assistants, painters, embalmers, and tire repairers. Dr. Nariman Farvardin, president of Stevens Institute of Technology, says students need to learn more than skills.
We try to teach students a way to learn on their own for the rest of their lives.
He says people who can innovate alongside AI will be successful. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
SpaceX scheduled to launch its next crew to the International Space Station in a couple of hours. Consultant Bill Harwood.
The new crew doesn't yet know how long they'll be in space because NASA's considering extending normal long-duration flights from 6 months to 8 months. That's intended to help meet Trump administration efforts to reduce spending on the space station project.
S&P futures up 56, NAS futures ahead 284. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. Or 2 half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
It is 7:04, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we have cloudy skies and 74 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page indicted by a grand jury. Our goal this morning is to help you understand the allegations and their implications. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun beginning our team coverage.
Page now faces 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. He's accused of spending public funds to the tune of $25,000+ to mail a postcard to voters about a ballot measure he opposed. One side of the postcard in question lists groups opposed to Proposition B and also quotes a court ruling that says the ballot language is, quote, misleading, insufficient, inaccurate, argumentative, prejudicial, and unfair. Page maintained it was an impartial informational mailer, and at the last council meeting, he said,
I can't imagine that anyone has done anything wrong. I will cooperate fully with the investigation.
Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who sought the charges, says in a statement, quote, Missouri law is clear. Public money must never be used for political campaigning. Any intentional misuse of taxpayer dollars in an attempt to rig the outcome of an election is illegal, end quote.
I'm Maria Keenan with potential legal ramifications for County Executive Dr. Sam Page now that he has been indicted. 2 of the 4 counts are felonies. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young.
Typically with misdemeanors, particularly for someone who is a first-time offender, then the misdemeanor charges oftentimes involve no jail time or minimal jail time or even probation. If you look at a felony charge of being convicted for stealing, and it involves county postage.
Section 561.021 of revised statutes of Missouri states that a person convicted of a felony, quote, forfeits any public office they hold upon conviction. They are forever disqualified from holding any public office if the felony was connected with the exercise of the right of suffrage or, for example, election fraud.
I'm Sean Malone in Clayton, where I just spoke to a couple members of the St. Louis County Council. I asked Councilwoman Shalonda Webb and Councilman Dennis Hancock if County Executive Sam Page should repay the money that was used for this political mailer.
I think the process should run its course, and the restitution should be decided by the legal system and what the judges and the attorneys, the judges decide.
That's going to be left up. I'm going to leave that up to the judge, and if there's a jury trial, I'll leave it up to the jurors to decide what his punishment should be.
Asked if County Executive Sam Page should resign, Councilwoman Shalonda Webb, the Democrat, says yes. Meanwhile, Councilman Dennis Hancock says he's going to leave that decision to County Executive Page.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe says he is open-minded to the idea of redoing Missouri's map to help Republicans gain another seat in Congress. Kehoe says people are dissatisfied with the current congressional map.
Really, since we drew the last maps, or I should say the House and Senate drew the last maps in 21 and 22, there's been talk about unhappiness and dissatisfaction with the way those maps came out. So it's not really a new conversation. It's been going on for a long time.
Kehoe says he won't commit to an extraordinary session, but says conversations are ongoing.
Opening day is announced for a new amusement park in St. Louis.
Workers putting the finishing touches on 3 new rides located in what's called Wheel Park at St. Louis's Union Station. Spokesman Karen Schoeffel says it includes a family-style roller coaster called Locomotion.
Spinning roller coaster that's kind of a train-themed, fun for all ages. We've got the Flying Louie, which is kind of like the pendulum ride, kind of a pirate ship type feel. Very cool, very fun for families as well. And then the Wave Swinger.
That's those classic high swings that go in circles. To ride all 3 of the new rides a single time is $22.33. Wheel Park at Union Station will be open daily 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and for the first time Thursday, August 28th. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
This is KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer. A well-known actor and comedian is in town taking part in that big international Shroud of Turin conference just getting underway. I'll tell you who it is coming up.
More than 100 dogs rescued from a hoarder situation. How you can help coming up after traffic and weather. It's 7:08.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
Like I said before, tariffs had absolutely zero effect on our equipment pricing. No manufacturer raised their prices. What has affected the pricing is the previous 4 years of these ridiculous mandates. I mean, I say ridiculous, it's shameful. But that being said, if you're told that you need a new system, or your air conditioner is bad, or you're looking to replace your system, if you want a common sense approach which works for you, your family, and your budget. When I say your budget, it never is what you want it to be on this equipment, but common sense approach, 15-20 minutes of your time, and explain to you your options. No Kool-Aid being handed out. I'm Bart Inman. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. The easiest way to get a hold of me with the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, there's only one, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. Fantastic deal. God bless.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. For over 30 years, St. Louis families have trusted Suntrup Ford Westport and Suntrup Ford Kirkwood as a proud, family-owned and operated dealership. We offer more than just great deals. We offer peace of mind. At Suntrup Ford, you'll find a huge selection of inventory to choose from, unmatched customer service, and our exclusive lifetime powertrain protection program. Visit in-store or online at suntrupford.com. Save more at Suntrup Ford. Visit suntrupford.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get over to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, cruising along out there, Tom. Friday mornings tend to be light. There's no sun in your eyes, so that's helping the eastbound drivers. It's about as good as you can hope for on these interstates. In fact, the one delay we had on westbound 64 coming through Albers Road in Damiensville, where that crash was, they cleared it right before the top of the hour, so the jam has dissipated. It was more of a slowdown than a jam, I guess. I do see a little bit of heavy traffic, just barely a slowdown right now. Westbound 64 running through Greenmount Road. Of course, that's an active work zone. The afternoons tend to be kind of heavy through there, but right now just a little busy. But other than that, it looks great. There's no traffic on 55 at McNutter, Bayless, 270 at Ladue, 6470 coming in from Wentzville. Everything's on the go. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist
Plenty of
Joe
clouds
Lundberg.
today, much cooler than recent days. Just a shower or two in the area, mainly through the morning hours. It'll be a bit breezy at times with a high of 78. Clearing and comfortably cool tonight, though 61. A nice day tomorrow with plenty of sunshine and low humidity, the high 80. For Saturday and Sunday, more sun than clouds and quite nice. The high Saturday near 80. Sunday's high 84. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is windy out there right now. I see the Missouri flag at Soldiers Memorial flapping in the breeze. It's 74 degrees and cloudy in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. The largest dog rescue in more than a decade for the Animal Cruelty Task Force of the Humane Society began Wednesday afternoon in Christian County. Thanks to an anonymous tip, rescuers found a home filled with as many as 150 dogs in filthy conditions. The owner agreed to surrender them to the Humane Society, and the dogs are being transported in 2 phases to the Macklin Avenue location. Many of the dogs are malnourished and suffering from skin conditions and neglect. Due to the size of the rescue, the Humane Society is asking for donations of towels, blankets, and newspapers, as well as monetary donations to help with medical care. They're also trying to make space at the shelter by waiving adoption fees on dogs over 35 pounds.
Only 3 projects were ever developed on the hundreds of acres in North St. Louis purchased by Paul McKee's Northside Regeneration. All 3 failed. And now the former Greenleaf Market and Zoom gas station and Mini Mart are in foreclosure and will be auctioned off on August 6th. But according to the Post-Dispatch, McKee says he's still in serious discussion with the lender and hopes to avert foreclosure and bring food back to the community. The other project was the Homer G. Phillips Memorial Hospital, which closed after less than a year and is the subject of numerous lawsuits.
Insurance companies need to implement a rate-making process that's fair and transparent immediately.
That's Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius saying their unfair rate-making practices make car insurance too expensive for some to afford. He wants people to ask their state legislators to ban insurance companies from considering socioeconomic data.
The horrible, hard truth is that car insurance companies charge you more for auto insurance based on your credit rating, the neighborhood you live in, and your age. And it really doesn't matter that you're a safe driver.
Insurance companies, however, say these factors are critical for accurately predicting risk, and removing them would make rates less fair.
An actor and comedian is in town taking part in the International Shroud of Turin conference getting underway in North County.
Funny man Rob Schneider couldn't be more serious when it comes to his belief in the authenticity of the Shroud of Turin. He's writing a movie about the Shroud, which is believed by millions to be the actual burial cloth of Jesus. But he says his faith isn't simply based on this ancient relic.
It's an important thing that we don't get lost in artifacts and worship this and have our faith in anything other than the living, breathing Savior, Jesus Christ.
Schneider will be taking part in a special panel featuring former atheists, agnostics, and skeptics whose faith was bolstered by the Shroud. The conference is taking place at the Augustine Institute on New Hallsbury Road through Saturday. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Let's begin our trade deadline coverage with KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals made their first deadline deal prior to their 2-0 loss to the Marlins, trading closer Ryan Helsley to the Mets for a package of prospects. Manager Oliver Marmol understands the trade, but is sad to lose Helsley, whose 105 saves ranks 6th in franchise history.
Sucks to see him go. It's part of it. We knew it was coming, but having the conversation definitely isn't the easiest. But this is a guy that's done so much for the org. I mean, he really has. You look at the last few years, his ability to post and pitch in meaningful spots. That's a tough role as a closer because everything falls on you. When things are rolling, you feel good about it, but you have to have some pretty thick skin when it doesn't. And he did a really nice job of taking that role and running with it. It was good to see his growth. And then off the field as well, man, he started to do some things for the community that were meaningful and have an impact there.
The Cardinals collect another prospect with their second trade of the night, sending Steven Matz to Boston. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, that prospect is Blaze Jordan.
Here's the righty's toss. Breaking ball swung on and lifted to left, and you can kiss that ball goodbye. Blaze Jordan sends one up onto the hillside in left. His 2-run home run is his 6th of the season, and Portland on the board to make it 4-2.
He started with AA Portland to begin the 2025 season, but Jordan was promoted to AAA Worcester on June 3rd after being named Eastern League Player of the Month for May. Blaze Jordan, 22 years old. He was the Red Sox third-round selection in the 2020 MLB draft out of DeSoto Central High School in South Haven, Mississippi. That's a city outside of the Cardinals' AAA affiliate in Memphis, where you'd have to imagine he's going to start his journey with the Cardinals. The high school that produced Braves third baseman Austin Riley. He was picked by the Red Sox when he was 17 years old after a high school career that saw him winning home run derbies, hitting tape measure shots. He was a viral sensation on social media. Most importantly, he was picked in that draft by Chaim Bloom, who is taking over for John Mozeliak as Cardinals president of baseball operations. So we'll keep our eye on the power-hitting first baseman Blaze Jordan, who comes over from the Boston Red Sox in exchange for Steven Matz. In fact, we'll give Jordan our player to bank on, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. The trade deadline is 5 o'clock today, so Helsley and Matz have been traded. Phil Maton is expected to be traded today. He is a setup man that's coveted by many teams. He also has an expiring contract. Could there be any unexpected trades for the Cardinals? Perhaps. John Mozeliak, speaking on KMOX earlier this week, left the door open to that, saying that there weren't any position players with expiring contracts, but that didn't mean they weren't getting calls on those players. So we'll watch it closely today. We'll have updates at the top of every hour, and then the Redbird Rush Hour will finish our deadline coverage today with a 5 o'clock show, and that'll extend into Sports Open Line. As Matt said, it's an off day today for the Cardinals. They play the Padres starting tomorrow. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
If you have been in a car accident in the past and have settled your case, I may have some good news. Some unethical lawyers have people known as runners who come directly to your hospital room or home and solicit your case. It's a disbarable offense. Anyone that would hire these scumbags needs to have their heads examined. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Now for the good news. If this happened to you, we will sue these lowlifes and fight to get all your fees back. And then look and see if these bottom feeders also malpracticed your case and sue them for that too. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Visit forthepeople.com for a free consultation or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. If someone does this to you, call the Bar Association and report them. Let's fight these bums. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Chris and Amy Show will be at Forest Park this Friday, broadcasting live from 9 a.m. to noon. Why are we hanging out at the park?
Because it finally won't be 1,000 degrees?
No, we're teaming up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical to do 100 acts of kindness.
Yeah, we figured we'd go to the park and do something nice like hand out water or suckers or something. I'm probably going to wear shorts.
So come say hi at the Forest Park Visitor Center this Friday from 9 to noon.
We should do lemonade instead of water.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:20. This is Total Information AM, and it's time for us to take a look at the roadways with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they really look great, and they have pretty much all morning long, Debbie, for the most part. The only place I'm seeing delays right now, westbound 64 through Greenmount Road over in O'Fallon. That's an active construction zone. In the afternoons, we get delays in both directions there. There's a slowdown there right now. That could be some of the traffic that was slow behind that crash that we had earlier at Albers Road in Damiensville. They cleared that, so everybody has moved on to the west, and now that's what we're seeing at this point. Northbound 67, a little busy at Double C. There's several points where you have delays, especially Missouri Avenue down through West Pontoon Road, southbound Route 3, basically south of 270 headed down into Granite City. They have paving work going on there every day, and that's one of the slowest spots we have right now in the metro area. Like I said, the interstates are wide open for you, even in the work zones at McNutt and Bayless off 55. And by the way, Bayless east of 55, you heard our own Stuart McMillan saying that that has reopened as of yesterday afternoon, so that's good news. That was a long-term closure of that bridge there just across the railroad tracks on the east side of the highway. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, the cool weather has finally arrived. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says that stifling heat and humidity is over for now. Mostly cloudy, cooler today, a high of only 78. Might get a shower or two around this morning. We'll see. Clear and cool, low 61 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and pleasant with low humidity, a high tomorrow of 80 degrees. Same for Saturday. Sunday, just a touch warmer, but the key is no humidity. We are seeing some shower activity around Sullivan right now along 44, and that is expected to make its way north. So there is a chance we could see a residual shower or two later on this morning, but we'll keep an eye on it. For right now, it's cloudy and 74 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:22. President Trump calls Missouri Senator Josh Hawley a second-tier senator. Hawley's bill to ban members of Congress from trading stocks is one step closer to becoming law. All Democrats on a Senate committee voted for it. Hawley, the only Republican to join them. He is the sponsor of the bill.
The information that members of Congress are privy to is technically not covered by the insider trading laws, but nobody really believes that the information that we get isn't valuable. It is quite valuable, which is why back during COVID, you saw members of Congress of both parties engage in a flurry of stock trading right after they were getting COVID briefings. Were members of the public getting those briefings? They were not. Were members of the public privy to the kind of information that was being given to members of Congress? No, they were not.
Hawley telling Fox News last night his bill does not affect the president or the vice president. It now moves on to the full Senate.
President Trump's tariffs on imports from dozens of countries are set to take effect on Friday. Bank Alliance President Lori Bettinger says price increases may not be sudden, but Americans can expect a change over time.
In anticipation of tariffs, of expecting to pay more for imports, a lot of companies sort of try to build up their inventory, the amount of items that they have available to sell to all of us. So I think that in many cases, people have been able to delay price increases. But over time, I don't know if that's sustainable.
Uncertainty over tariffs pushed the Federal Reserve to hold interest rates steady again on Wednesday, ignoring pressure from the White House to lower rates.
Today will be day 2 of hearings into January's plane and helicopter crash over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. that claimed the lives of 67 people. At the time of the crash, the Black Hawk military chopper should have been flying below 200 feet, but it was at least 70 feet higher. After the crash, tests revealed that the chopper's altitude readers were not working properly. CBS's Chris Van Cleve says it appears the helicopter crew did not know, perhaps until seconds before, that the crash with the passenger jet was about to happen.
Flight data from the black box on board the helicopter indicates the pilots may have never seen that they were on a collision course with that airplane, even into the last moments before the impact.
If you use ChatGPT, your privacy could be in peril. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is pointing the finger at the New York Times. The paper has sued the platform for copyright infringement, alleging the company used Times work to train its chatbot.
The court ordered back in May that ChatGPT has to save and archive every chat question, every chat response, and even undelete some of the prior deleted chat discussions in order to preserve evidence that might be used against ChatGPT in the lawsuit.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young telling KMOX ChatGPT previously allowed users to delete those items.
A new Microsoft report lists the jobs that are safest from AI.
The tech giant looked at anonymous conversations between its AI chatbot, Microsoft Bing Copilot, and its users, and found workers who use AI the least and have the most AI-safe jobs include nursing assistants, painters, embalmers, and tire repairers. Dr. Nariman Farvardin, president of Stevens Institute of Technology, says students need to learn more than skills.
We try to teach students a way to learn on their own for the rest of their lives.
He says people who can innovate alongside AI will be successful. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A new study says we're losing local reporters at an alarming rate.
On one level, it means that you and your family are less likely to get information you need.
Steve Waldman is founder and president of Rebuild Local News. The organization used data from Muckrack to estimate our nation has lost 75% of its local journalists in the last 2 decades. Waldman says communities are losing out on important election information, as well as the role that news reporters play as government watchdogs.
In areas where there's less local news, there's more corruption, higher municipal borrowing costs, and higher taxes.
Missouri used to have 40 local reporters for every 100,000 people. Now we have less than 10. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Taking another look at that radar, the shower activity over Sullivan and Stanton, Missouri, that's along 44, and it is making its way north. There is a chance we could see a little bit of rain activity, especially in the southern region of our listening area, a little bit later this morning. Otherwise today, just cloudy and cooler with a high of 78 degrees. Weather sponsored by Fairmount Park Casino and Racing. Sign up for a Fairmount Park Casino and Racing players card in the casino today. Win up to $100,000. Get access to comps, free slot play, gift giveaways, and promotional offers. This offer won't last long. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 727 Time Check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You probably put a lot of time and effort into searching for your new home, looking at all kinds of factors. But how much effort and time have you put into choosing the right agent to sell your current home? Well, I would encourage you to do a little research and call Gloria Liu at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888, because the realtor you choose matters. I've been talking about Gloria Liu for years because I have seen her proven systems and her guarantees. With Gloria Liu at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, you get real results. Your home sold, or she will buy it herself. And she makes it so simple. She's got 24,000 plus buyers in waiting, so your home may already be sold. And she'll sell your home for top dollar, boosting your profits. And she'll sell it quickly. Gloria closes a home sale just about every other day, unlike a lot of other agents that average about 4 to 5 a year. Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. Find out more when you call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888 or find her online right now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The Siteman Cancer Center spotlight how an innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Joining us is Dr. John DiPersio.
Until very recently, until this paper and a few other groups in the world have sort of developed approaches for T-cell malignancies, there was no hope for patients who relapsed. There were no effective therapies. This is a way of treating these patients that would normally have no other recourse.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu. At 7:30, we have a cloudy sky, 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're starting to see a little more volume, Debbie, on eastbound Highway 30. Let's call it West Watson to 270, where it's slow. Northbound 55 still looks good coming out of Festus, and it's still okay, believe it or not, north of Bayless. I still don't see any slowdowns there. North 270, a little busy with the merge on traffic from 55. It opens up before you even get to Tesson Ferry. There's a little busy stretch right through Gravois. South 270 is actually busier, believe it or not. It's slow from Olive down to about Ladue right now on the southbound run. Just a slowdown there. Eastbound 64, 94 to Research Park. Seeing a little bit of volume at that point, but otherwise eastbound 70 out of Wentzville looks great all the way in through 270 in downtown. Westbound 64 is starting to slow a little bit. You have that delay, that slow stuff on both sides of Green Mountain Road I mentioned earlier, and then Baugh Avenue to the 70 split. But once you get past the split, it's wide open across both the Poplar and the Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And this weather is going to be very welcome. Some outdoor activity forthcoming here in St. Louis. Today, high 78. Might see some rain here and there. Mostly cloudy, much cooler, though. It'll be humid, but a lot better with a high of 78. Tonight, clearing and cooler, low 61. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, spectacular. Sunny, pleasant, low humidity. Highs each day around 80 degrees. Currently, it's cloudy and 74 downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. Should he resign? Sean Malone spoke with the highest-ranking member of the St. Louis County Council, Chairwoman Rita Hurd-Days.
Do you believe that he should resign?
I believe that the county executive needs to do what's in the best interest for he and his family at this particular point. When I'm looking at the ramifications of the county itself, it does not bode well for us to have a leader who is divided. And clearly, this is going to be something that's taken away from his duties as county executive. And I think that the county will suffer if he continues in that vein. Again, that's a decision that he has to make. And I do believe, though, in the best interest of the county, that he should resign.
She says Page violated Politics 101, not mixing governmental resources for a campaign.
Missouri could redraw their map to help Republicans in Congress gain a seat. To do so, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe would need to convene an extraordinary session of the State House and Senate. He says talks to do so are ongoing.
There's a lot of conversation about it, I think it's fair to say.
Kehoe says Missouri will do anything the state can do to support Speaker Mike Johnson and congressional Republicans hold the House.
An estimated 150 small dogs are being rescued from a hoarding situation in Christian County, Missouri. They're being brought to the Humane Society of Missouri, the location on Mackland. These dogs are malnourished. Many have skin issues. The Humane Society says this will put a strain on an already full shelter, so they're asking for donations of towels, blankets, newspapers, and to make room, they're waiving adoption fees for any dogs over 35 pounds.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money report next.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, and finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-770-0850. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-770-0850. 800-770-0850.
It is 7:35, and it's time for your money report. It's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
Good morning. No interest rate cut yet for President Trump or the rest of us, at least not yet. Fed Chair Jay Powell holding interest rates unchanged yesterday, saying the Fed needs to keep guarding against inflation. Powell citing the possible inflationary impact of tariffs. There's also some recognition from the Fed that impact could be temporary. Some good news for home builders, but bad news for anyone who owns copper. Prices plunging by the most ever after President Trump imposed 50% tariffs on copper imports, but exempted refined metals. Refined copper is used for electrical wiring, and also some plumbing in EVs and solar panels. Bunch of jobs in the film industry winding up on the cutting room floor. Variety says Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group is cutting about 10% of its workforce. And Meta Platforms is taking advantage of its lucrative ad business and stepping up spending next year. Execs say now is the time to pounce on investment opportunities in artificial intelligence. Investors like what they're hearing. Shares are higher this morning. With your money report, I'm Denise Pellegrini with Bloomberg Business on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Life doesn't stand still, and neither do your goals. At Busey Bank, we're here to help you move forward with the financial tools, local support, and expert guidance you need to take your next step. Whether you're growing a business, leaving a legacy, or saving for the future, you'll have a team that's ready when you are. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:37, and a new crime lab being built in Jefferson County is nearing completion.
We're looking at probably the last 1%.
Jefferson County Sheriff's Department used $11 million worth of ARPA money to build their new crime lab in Herculaneum.
We've hired our crime lab director, who joined us from Northern California, who we're incredibly excited about.
Under Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Tim Whitney.
And right now we're in the process of acquiring all the equipment that's necessary and hiring all these scientists that are going to be in the lab.
Jeffco's Crime Lab will be able to run toxicology tests, test DNA, and examine other digital forensics. All of that will likely ease the burden on the state lab that is often backlogged. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A major AI company prohibited job seekers from using AI on their applications. Here's why it changed its policy. I'm Jeff Colvin of Fortune magazine with the Fortune Business Update. The company is Anthropic, and its AI chatbot is called Claude. Like some other companies, it prohibited job applicants from using AI to refine their resumes, cover letters, and applications. But now the company says it uses Claude every day. In fact, it uses Claude to create job descriptions, improve interview questions, and manage candidate communications. So the company figured it's only fair that candidates can use such tools too. But only up to a point. Job seekers still can't use AI when given problems to solve or being interviewed. And with AI improving by the week, don't be surprised if the rules at Anthropic and elsewhere change again before long. I'm Jeff
I'm
Colvin.
Maria Kina.
I hope that everybody wakes up to what is going on.
The Ameren, Missouri exorbitant electric bills, just the beginning. That's according to a consumer advocacy group.
We'll have that story at 7:30. Reminder, after the 7:40 traffic and weather, I should say. After today, the trade deadline's at 5 o'clock today. After this show, Megan Lynch has the 8 o'clock hour. Then starting at 9, I will join Debbie at the top of the hour news with trade deadline updates. So, and obviously, if anything breaks, we will jump in. Cardinals made 2 moves overnight. They traded for Steven Matz, and earlier in the evening yesterday, they traded Ryan Helsley to the Mets, Matz to the Red Sox, acquired 4 prospects, 3 for Helsley, 1 for Matz. More expected today. We'll have it all for you. Right now, Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are a little busier, but still not bad on a Thursday, Tom. This traffic reports the service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, that looks good coming out of Wentzville. Eastbound 64, just a little busy at Research Park, a brief slowdown at Clarkson, a brief slowdown through 170. Now it opens up as you get through Hanley. It doesn't even run in through Big Bend. Westbound 64 around Bellevue is just kind of off the pace. South 270, one of the busiest stretches of highway from Page down to Ladue. It's just a slowdown, but North 270, north of 55 to Tesson Ferry, and just briefly through Gravois, a little busy. Eastbound 30, West Watson to 270, again, just a slowdown. 55, there's more of a slowdown here as well. North of Bayless up through about Virginia. And again, Bayless east of 55 is a reopen. That happened yesterday afternoon. On the Illinois side, again, just some slowdowns, but westbound 64 briefly slow through Green Mountain in the work zone, Baugh Avenue to the 70 split, and then it's slow again west of 3rd Street headed across the Poplar. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, and Electrical.
And electrical.
JerryKelly.com.
All right, let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. As promised, we had some storms move through yesterday. Not terrible storms, but enough to cool things down finally, Joe.
Yeah, they came through it around right around the lunchtime, and that wiped out the heat for the rest of the day. It only got back into the low and mid 80s in places, and that was it. And then today, the heat's completely gone. The humidity will be going with it. Lots of clouds today, maybe a shower or two, but most of those are going to be to our south and during the morning hours. And temperatures don't get out of the 70s this afternoon. Skies begin to clear tonight. We'll cool off to about 61. Tomorrow, beautiful day with sunshine and low humidity. We get to about 80, and that's it. That's almost 10 below average, believe it or not. And we stay there Saturday with sun and some clouds, the high 80 up to 84 with more sun than clouds for Sunday. Gets a little cloudier Monday, but I think it's dry. The humidity does increase, though, the high 86. 73 at St. Peter's, and in Florissant, it's cloudy, and 75 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's now 7:42 on Total Information AM. Only on KMOX. We're trying to get the real reason Ackerman, Missouri's customer electric bills have climbed to untenable rates.
Ackerman, Missouri told KMOX it's all due to their 12% increase. Also, the cost of kilowatt hours cost more in the summer. The extreme heat temperatures and customers' usage has increased. But that still does not explain how people's bills have more than doubled since last month. The bills are way above 12%. Missouri's Public Service Commission did not provide anything concrete that people who do not know how they are going to pay their bills can do. Forrest Gossett says customers can call the Public Service Commission hotline to file a complaint. That number, 1-800-392-4211. KMOX talked with Sandra Padgett with Consumer Council of Missouri, and she tells us this is a very serious and difficult situation.
In many cases, there's only so much that a family can do to conserve energy. We are talking to households who are keeping their temperatures up at 80 degrees on the thermostat in order to conserve energy.
We have talked with HVAC people who have said when you put your thermostat way up like that, especially in times of heat like this, the AC units have to work far harder to compensate to cool down the house again.
I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of started this job not knowing the situation in our community, and I hope that everybody wakes up to what is going on.
KMOX talked with Missouri Senator Carla May, who says she is going to check in and see why Ackerman, Missouri customers are being billed exorbitant rates. May also reminds the elderly and disabled to contact Cool Down St. Louis. This is a nonprofit organization that does not take any administrative fees. All the money goes to those in need. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Spirit Airlines is going through another round of pilot furloughs. The airline, which flies out of St. Louis Lambert International to Las Vegas, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale, is furloughing 270 pilots and downgrading another 140 captains in an effort to remain profitable. Spirit already went through several rounds of pilot furloughs last fall, then again in January. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in December. An attempt in January to merge with JetBlue was blocked by a federal judge.
Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Let's get into the trade deadline here and break this down. So first, the Cardinals yesterday traded Ryan Helsley to the New York Mets. They get 3 prospects that we'll tell you about. First, the reaction from Ollie Marmol.
Sucks to see him go. It's part of it, and we knew it was coming. But having the conversation definitely isn't the easiest. But this is a guy that's done so much for the org. I mean, he really has. You look at the last few years, his ability to post and pitch in meaningful spots. That's a tough role as a closer because everything falls on you. And when things are rolling, you feel good about it, but you have to have some pretty thick skin when it doesn't. And he did a really nice job of taking that role and running with it. It was good to see his growth. And then off the field as well, man, he started to do some things for the community that were meaningful and have an impact there. So you hate to see those type of guys leave. But I definitely wish him well, man. He's earned the opportunity to go play in meaningful baseball, and he'll do well.
Has a chance to go win a World Series with the New York Mets. Cardinals get 3 single-A players back for Helsley. Infielder Jesus Baez, who has some interesting power and speed. Right-handed pitcher Nate Dome and right-handed pitcher Frank Ellisalt. Both Dome and Ellisalt are strikeout pitchers. Dome higher rated. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2024, while Ellisalt was a 19th-round pick in 2024. And then late last night, the Cardinals traded Steven Matz to the Boston Red Sox, and they get an intriguing prospect in return for Matz. It's power hitter Blaze Jordan, first baseman at AAA Worcester for the Red Sox, and he has actually changed from a strictly power hitter to somebody who can also hit it into the gaps. And
now
here he
is
is.
For Jordan. He drills it high and deep left center field into the gap, and this ball will one-hop off the wall. Eaton scores easily. Here comes Von Grissom as he scores standing. Blaze Jordan on fire in his first week at Triple.
Blaze Jordan in AAA has produced a .308 batting average with 12 home runs and 62 RBIs, along with 22 doubles for his minor league season. He began it in AA Portland and was promoted to Worcester on June 3rd. He was 17 years old when the Red Sox drafted him in 2020. Guess who drafted him? Chaim Bloom, the upcoming president of baseball operations for the Cardinals, replacing John Mozeliak. At that time, Jordan was playing for DeSoto Central High School in South Haven, Mississippi, and he ended up being one of the most intriguing power prospects in the draft. In fact, when he was a teenager, he was hitting 400, 500-foot bombs in batting practice, home run derbies, and in games, and then ends up getting drafted by the Red Sox. His minor league career halted briefly by COVID in 2020. If you recall, they stopped the minor leagues completely, but he has picked things up. At the time of this trade, Jordan is leading all full-season Red Sox minor leaguers in batting, RBIs, total bases. He's second in runs, extra base hits, and slugging, fourth in home runs, and he plays first base. He's also played third base in his professional career. We'll continue to watch this as it develops, and we'll have updates at the top of every hour as trade deadline day is today, 5 o'clock. A couple of deals late last night. Cubs picked up Andrew Kittredge, the former Cardinal, from the Orioles. The Mariners acquired Arizona Diamondbacks third baseman Eugenio Suarez. Cubs also got starter Michael Soroka from the Nationals. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, and Innsbruck is a great place to be. 104.1 FM hits out there, 11:20 a.m. hits out there. I love being out there fishing and listening to the ball game. You better believe it. Innsbruck's a great place to do that and much more. Innsbruck, we will be there soon, celebrating and spending some time together. Innsbruck's a great place to do that. Every day's the weekend out there. 7,500 acres, 100 lakes. Great place to unwind and spend a little vacation time. Not far from home, 45 minutes from our house, and we live in central St. Louis County. An hour from downtown, it's Innsbruck. You'll love it. Innsbruck-resort.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's the Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or a picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Reich. Register to win great prizes. Enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be, Thursday, August 7th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
All right, let's get you caught up on your ride in this morning. And it's going to be really cool today. You might even feel a little chilly compared to where we've been. More on that in just a moment. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's great out there. You don't have the sun in your eyes, cooler temps. It's a nice morning out there. An easy drive. Thursday mornings tend to be light, Debbie. They look great right now on eastbound Highway 64. We do have a little slow traffic from Clarkson most of the way into Timberlake. Briefly slow at the Interbelt. Not much to worry about there. Westbound 64, McCausland to Big Bend's kind of slow. It's a little busy. Lindbergh out towards Spady. South 270, just 364 down to Olive. Then it's picking up the pace by the time you get to that point. North 270, a slowdown through Gravois, and then just Doherty Ferry up past Manchester. But again, north of Manchester sorts itself out, and it doesn't look that bad north of there. Northbound 55, Bales up the river to Pear, kind of busy downtown. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 still has that slowdown through the work zone at Greenmount Road, and it's slow from basically the 70 split in a couple of spots across the Poplar. But again, none of this is a jam by any stretch of the imagination. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And as for that weather, cloudy, cooler than in recent days, high 78, clearing and cooler tonight, low 61. Lots of sun and less humidity this weekend with highs around 80 degrees. Currently, it's cloudy and 74 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. Page is accused of spending public funds to mail a postcard to voters, which the indictment claims was politically motivated. The flyer appeared to advocate voters oppose Proposition B, which would have allowed the council input on page appointments.
KMOX asked St. Louis University political science professor Christopher Duncan about the prospects for productivity in the halls of county power.
Do you think anything gets done in St. Louis County government, at least until there's some sort of resolution to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's just business that, has to get done day in and day out, and that they'll move forward. It's, again, not clear to me what kind of track this is on. Obviously, I think the indictment was a surprise in terms of the speed with which it came out, but how it works its way through the system at this point, I think is going to be a fairly slow process, would be my guess.
The Missouri National Education Association is suing the state over the expansion of the Mo Scholars Program they say violates the state constitution. Missouri NEA President Patrick Layden says it went from a program funded by donations to the state contributing tax money for private school scholarships.
This newest iteration of the plan actually takes taxpayer money out of the general fund and funnels $51 million into the program with no strings attached. All the money that flows into our public schools have rules about accountability, accreditation, about which students get to come into our public schools.
But private schools, he says, can reject or accept students with no accountability to taxpayers. He says the Mo Scholars program was sold as a way to help public school students attend private schools, but he says 90% of the money went to children already in private schools, so he says it's a tax break for their parents.
Another weight loss drug may be good for your heart.
In a new clinical study, Eli Lilly found its GLP-1 weight loss drug Mounjaro is 16% more effective than its type 2 diabetes drug Trulicity at reducing deadly heart attacks or strokes. Lilly claims Mounjaro can be a frontline treatment for people with cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. The drug maker did not say when it hopes to get FDA approval for that. Mounjaro's main competitor, Ozempic, is already approved to help prevent cardiovascular events. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
NASA is ready to send a fresh crew to the International Space Station today on the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, including mission commander Zena Cardman, who was supposed to launch last year before NASA ran into problems with Boeing's troubled Starliner capsule. CBS space analyst Bill Harwood is at the Kennedy Space Center.
Everything's looking very good. The weather's 90% go. They're not tracking any technical problems that we're aware of. So all things considered, I think they've got a very good shot at getting off the ground today. And Zena Cardman's going to get her ride to space finally.
Liftoff is set for about 11 o'clock St. Louis time, and the crew is set to dock with the space station early Saturday.
It's 7:55.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two have geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Just a reminder, coming up at 8 o'clock, Megan Lynch and then Chris and Amy are at 9. Starting at 9 o'clock, I'll be in at Debbie Monterey's studio for her news updates and give you MLB trade deadline updates throughout the day. Matt Pauley will have them this afternoon. At noon today, a special edition of the Gas House Gang as we break down the Major League Baseball trade deadline. The Cardinals have already dealt Ryan Helsley to the Mets for 3 prospects. And then late last night, Steven Matz to the Red Sox for power-hitting first base prospect Blaze Jordan. Then we will have the Redbird Rush Hour, a special edition at 5 o'clock today that will feature the MLB trade deadline, which expires at 5. That's when the deadline is, and Bernie Miklasz will join us for that coverage as well. That's all coming up on KMOX.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've just had slowdowns this morning for the most part, and that's all we have out there right now, Debbie. If you're on the eastbound Highway 30, it's kind of busy approaching Mauer up the hill to 270, seeing some backed up traffic both ways on Tesson Ferry, coming off 270 southbound down through almost Schussler, northbound up toward Concord School Road, north on 55, a little slow, just a couple spots north of Bayless, up through River to Pear, north 270. There's a little slowdown approaching Big Bend. After that is back on track. South 270 has cleared out. Eastbound 64 is still slow from Clarkson to about Timberlake. It's slow through the Interbelt to about Big Bend. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker, or really, I guess, McCausland out to Hanley, so a little busy at Lindbergh. And on the Illinois side, a couple of slowdowns, westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplar. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I'm Tom Ackerman. 74 degrees and cloudy in downtown St. Louis. These are the stories making news. What do criminal charges against the St. Louis County Executive mean for county residents? We will have team coverage.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. The Fed holds steady on interest rates. What will happen in September? We ask Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee.
Are Ameren power bills higher than they should be? KMOX's Maria Kina takes a look.
Illinois nursing homes get poor ratings in a new national ranking.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A lot of clouds today with a shower or two, mainly this morning. It'll be breezy at times with a high of 78.
With an incredible weekend coming, we might get better weather than San Diego, which is where the Cardinals are headed this weekend. Trade deadline at 5.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The clock is ticking for trade deals a day before President Trump's August 1st deadline. He's advising Americans not to fear.
Critics said that our tariffs would hurt the economy, but the data shows the exact opposite.
The White House says South Korea is the latest among 11 trading partners to reach an agreement. Seoul settled for 15% tariffs. President Trump says Canada has made a deal very hard after Prime Minister Mark Carney announced his country would recognize a Palestinian state.
This intention is predicated on the Palestinian Authority's commitment to much-needed reform, including commitments by the Palestinian Authority's President Abbas to fundamentally reform its governance, to hold general elections in 2026 in which Hamas can play no part.
State police in Arkansas have arrested a 28-year-old man in a barbershop in Springdale in the murders of a husband and wife in Devil's Den State Park in front of their 2 young daughters. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
We ask that every Arkansan remember this family and lift them up in prayer and offer condolences and comfort to them in any way that you can.
The girls escaped uninjured. Police have not announced a possible motive. A funeral service is getting underway right now in New York City for the police officer among 4 people shot and killed this week at a Midtown office building. The NYPD's Diderol Islam was a father of 2 with another child on the way. CBS New York's Christina Fan is in the Bronx.
Officers are getting ready to shut down the streets surrounding the mosque where the funeral will be held. They're also busy bringing out barricades to better protect the hundreds of mourners who are expected to attend this prayer service.
Another weight loss drug may be good for your heart.
In a new clinical study, Eli Lilly found its GLP-1 weight loss drug Mounjaro is 16% more effective than its type 2 diabetes drug Trulicity at reducing deadly heart attacks or strokes. Lilly claims Mounjaro can be a frontline treatment for people with cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. The drug maker did not say when it hopes to get FDA approval for that. Mounjaro's main competitor, Ozempic, is already approved to help prevent cardiovascular events. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
If you live in the Northeast, you might want to grab an umbrella and some waterproof shoes before you head out. CBS meteorologist David Parkinson expects heavy rain.
The big threat today into tomorrow is a level 3 out of 4 risk for flash flooding in the Northeast corridor from Newark, New Jersey, down to the southern suburbs of Washington, D.C.
Dow futures are up 115. S&P futures ahead 60. NAS futures up 317. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, July 31st. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. The indictment secured by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who says in a statement that he concluded the investigation into Page's alleged misuse of public funds because, quote, the people of St. Louis County deserve accountability, not corruption, close quote. Page is accused of spending public funds to mail a postcard to voters, which the indictment claims was politically motivated. The flyer appeared to advocate voters oppose Proposition B, which would have allowed the council input on Page's appointments.
I'm Sean Malone outside the county offices in Clayton, where I spoke to County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb. She believes County Executive Sam Page should resign after being indicted.
This process is going to be hard for him to juggle his personal distraction right now and also be the leader the county needs.
St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock was almost removed from office by then prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell. He says he's not going to call on County Executive Page to resign.
I saw the way that I was treated by the county executive and others during that process. I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. He is entitled to his day in court.
And we will go in depth on that indictment at 8:11. The largest dog rescue in more than a decade for the Animal Cruelty Task Force of the Humane Society began Wednesday afternoon in Christian County. Thanks to an anonymous tip, rescuers found a home filled with as many as 150 dogs in filthy conditions. The owner agreed to surrender them to the Humane Society. The dogs are being transported in 2 phases to the Macklin Avenue location. Many of the dogs malnourished and suffering from skin conditions and neglect. Due to the size of the rescue, the Humane Society is asking for donations of towels, blankets, and newspapers, as well as monetary donations to help with medical care. They're also trying to make space at the shelter by waiving adoption fees on dogs over 35 pounds. The mercury has been soaring high, much like the electric bills of Ameren, Missouri customers. Ameren's customer advocacy manager, Paige Selby, says a 12% rate increase took effect. Kilowatts cost more in the summer and usage has increased.
So we kind of had all of those things hitting at the same time. I think we're all seeing our bills are a little bit higher.
Some customers claim bills have been hitting mailboxes that are much higher than 12%. Sandra Padgett with Consumer Council of Missouri tells KMOX Senate Bill 4 signed into law takes effect August 28th. Where Spire, Ameren Water, and Ameren Missouri will all be increasing their bills.
They can try to apply for one of the Ameren low-income customer assistance programs. Nevertheless, we have been told that currently those programs are hard to access.
Senator Carla May tells KMOX she's going to find out why Ameren's customers' electric bills have skyrocketed way beyond a 12% increase, and we'll go in depth on the story later this hour. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias taking aim at car insurance companies for, he says, using irrelevant data to determine rates.
Currently, insurance companies use a number of factors to determine your premium, including several that have nothing to do with your driving record.
He says those factors include credit score, home address, age, and education. Giannoulias says those policies lead to people not getting insurance, which makes driving less safe for everyone. He's asking Illinoisans to contact their state lawmakers and request a change in the law. The insurance industry, though, says considering those metrics is essential for accurate pricing. We're less than a month away from the opening of a new amusement park within St. Louis's Union Station.
This is Stuart McMillan. Thursday, August 28th is opening day for Wheel Park, which already features the 200-foot-tall Ferris wheel and now 3 new rides. The Flying Louie, a swinging pirate ship, which is $6.70 a ride, and that includes tax. The Wave Swinger, a classic high swings ride, also $6.70, and the Locomotion, a spinning train-themed roller coaster, $8.93 to ride. Those prices are listed on the website. Spokesman Cameron Schoeffel.
Everything we do here is a la carte. So, you'll be able to walk in. If you just want to ride the wave swinger for the day, you can do that. If you want to go to the aquarium and, do the spinning roller coaster and have the all-encompassing feel, you can do that as well.
Again, opening day at Wheel Park is Thursday, August 28th. We're going to get a check of the forecast and the roads for you in just 2 minutes here on KMOX. It's now 8:08.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look great, Megan. It's been an easygoing morning all morning, and it's even better now than it was earlier, obviously. Just a few slowdowns to be had out there. Not much at all, really. Northbound 55, Weber to River to Pears, a little busy. Northbound 270, 64 to Ladue, just a little slow there. South 270 is thinned out coming down through Ladue. Eastbound 64, a little off the pace at Winghaven, a little slow at Clarkson. It's thinned out at the Interbelt, really both directions there, so no worries. Eastbound 30 is thinned out approaching 270. The backups we had on Tesson Ferry around 270 are gone. Downtown, on westbound 64, first of all, through Greenmount Road, everything looks good there. We had a slowdown earlier in that work zone. There's just a little bit of a slowdown right now, approaching Route 3, or call it west of 3rd Street, to the Poplar. Once you get to the bridge, it rolls, and the Musial Veterans has been wide open for you all morning long. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we're going to have mostly cloudy skies, and it's going to be cooler than recent days. We could see a shower or two, mainly this morning. Breezy at times as well today, a high 78 degrees. Clearing and cooler tonight, a low of 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant, low humidity, a high of 80. And then for Saturday, it'll be a nice start to the weekend. Sunshine with some clouds, a high again around 80 degrees. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees in Florissant and St. Peter's, 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and we go in depth this morning. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page facing criminal charges connected to election flyers. To help you understand the indictment and what it means, We start our team coverage with Michael Calhoun.
Page was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of stealing and 2 misdemeanor counts of election law violations. The indictment secured by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. In a statement, he says, quote, "The Missouri Constitution and our statutes are clear. Public money must never be used for political campaigning," end quote. The charges stem from a controversial mailer sent by the Page administration earlier this year regarding a ballot measure which would have given the county council more oversight over Page's appointment of department heads. It was a contentious issue. The printing and postage for the postcard was paid for by taxpayers. Page defended it as an informational flyer. Critics complained it focused on reasons to vote against Prop B. St. Louis University political science professor Christopher Duncan tells KMOX.
I think that there's a real question that probably needs to be answered about the way the funds were used in terms of Proposition B. Certainly, I don't think that what people saw was a kind of fair and balanced attempt to inform them about the issue.
Let's bring in KMOX's Maria Kina. Maria?
Michael, we are looking at legal implications for Dr. Sam Page now that there is an indictment. Now, the 2 felonies are the most serious of the 4 counts.
And on those, Maria, could Dr. Page face any jail time?
Well, Michael, our legal analyst, Brad Young, gives us some insight into just that.
That in of itself could result in jail time between 3 and 10 years in prison. That's according to state sentencing guidelines.
Now, could the county executive say here that he didn't know that that was illegal to do?
He could certainly say that. Obviously, first-year law school tells you that ignorance of the law is no defense. But in retrospect, since we've seen that his cell phone was confiscated via warrant on Monday, I believe, and again, I'm speculating here, but I believe that the phone was necessary to demonstrate, number one, that Sam Page had knowledge of what he was doing, and number two, that he was actually directing specific officials to. There's one allegation that he reduced the amount of individuals this would be mailed to in order to decrease the cost of the postage, thereby eliminating any requirement to report it.
So, Michael, Brad Young says if that information came from his cell phone, that would have been very important for the indictment purposes.
Maria, what else stands out to Brad?
Michael, Brad Young adds the red flag for him is that County Executive Page's phone was confiscated.
Speculation here, but I think that the cell phone was extremely important in order to demonstrate Sam Page's involvement in direction and control of county officials when it came to the use of county resources and funds and equipment. And so that would have been critical information in terms of the issuance of the indictment.
What's your gut feeling here? What's going to happen?
Well, the bottom line is going to be whether or not, and the whole case rises and falls on whether or not the postcard or the flyer amounts to an illegal campaign flyer. And that's exactly what this whole case is going to rest upon.
SLU's Dr. Duncan notes that it has not been a smooth ride for Sam Page in the county council chambers of late.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think this is just bringing the dirty laundry out into the public even more, right? It looks, I think from most perspectives, a little dysfunctional to say the least. And I think that the tension between, Mr. Page and the council has been palatable for a long time. And this is just the latest iteration of that.
So does the highest ranking member of the St. Louis County Council, Chairwoman Rita Herdays, think that Dr. Page should step down? KMOX's Sean Malone asked her.
Do you believe that he should resign?
I believe that the county executive needs to do what's in the best interest for he and his family at this particular point. When I'm looking at the ramifications of the county itself, it does not bode well for us to have a leader who is divided. And clearly, this is going to be something that's taken away from his duties as county executive. And I think that the county will suffer if he continues in that vein. Again, that's a decision that he has to make. And I do believe, though, in the best interest of the county, that he should resign.
Councilwoman Shalonda Webb tells Sean.
So just to clarify, do you think he should resign?
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no answer, right? Should he resign?
And I'm going to openly answer you. Thinking about what has actually happened here, thinking about he has been indicted, the previous county executive resigned immediately so that the county has a chance to recover and move forward. And I believe this county executive should do the same.
But County Councilman Dennis Hancock is more cautious.
We need to understand this is not a good day for St. Louis County, obviously. The county taxpayers have been through this before in the not too distant past, and now we're going through it again. I'm not going to call for County Executive Page to resign. That's his decision to make. I would hope, though, that while he's considering what his next step is, that he considers what the impact is to his family, to the county taxpayers, and to the county government as a whole.
You heard multiple references to former executive Steve Stenger, who went to federal prison, and Page succeeded him. Facing charges, Stenger resigned. SLU Professor Duncan, what potentially goes into these very personal decisions, whether to quit or not?
Each of those cases, you would have to ask the individual themselves why they landed there. You always hope that they're doing it for principled reasons, but, obviously I think there are there's at least one member of the council who has talked openly about maybe running in a primary against Mr. Page. And so, you can't discount the fact that there are politics being played here as well.
Do you think anything gets done in St. Louis County government, at least until there's some sort of resolution to this?
Yeah, I think that there's just business that, has to get done day in and day out, and that they'll move forward. It's, again, not clear to me what kind of track this is on. Obviously, I think the indictment was a surprise in terms of the speed with which it came out, but how it works its way through the system at this point, I think, is going to be a fairly slow process, would be my guess.
A.G. Bailey, in his statement, said he, quote, conducted this investigation into Sam Page's alleged misuse of public funds because the people of St. Louis County deserve accountability, not corruption, end quote. Is local trust in government shaken again?
Every time that somebody is accused or somebody is convicted, it obviously diminishes the amount of both respect and confidence that the citizens have in their government. Clearly the St. Louis region has so much going for it, but it also has, a large number of problems and issues that need to be dealt with. And sometimes this, I think, for a lot of average voters seems like a distraction from the real business that ought to be getting done. Obviously, no municipality or city would like to have their public officials being put on websites and accused of crimes. It doesn't make St. Louis unique among big cities across the United States, unfortunately. But again, it's certainly not something that serves us well.
In a statement, Page's attorney, Jeff Jensen, said, quote, we adamantly deny Dr. Page engaged in any wrongdoing and look forward to his day in court, end quote. For Total Information AM with Maria Kina and Sean Malone, I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Still ahead this hour on KMOX, the Fed holds steady on interest rates. What will happen in September, though? We'll ask Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee. Are Ameren power bills higher than they should be? KMOX's Maria Keenan will take a look at that later this hour. Plus, Illinois nursing homes get poor ratings in a new national ranking. Let's get a check of the roads again. It's 8:20. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's easy going run on the area highways, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Northbound 55 from McNutt all the way up through Bayless and River to Pear looks great. Northbound 270 is wide open. South 270 just a little busy around Ladue. Eastbound 30 is cleared out at 270. Eastbound 64 just a little busy. The ramps really east and westbound 64 on the north 170. The only thing slow there. Lindbergh north of 64. They were doing road work, a little busy there. Downtown we're clear. Westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges, nothing doing on these area interstates for you right now, thankfully. Chances are you have a lot of people who depend on you, your family, maybe even employees. Life insurance from Penn Mutual can provide you peace of mind and protect the most important people in your life. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Finally, some relief from the heat. We'll have a cooler day today and less humidity, mostly cloudy skies with a shower or two. It'll be a high of 78 degrees today, clearing cooler tonight, an overnight low of 61. Right now, clouds 74 degrees downtown at the Arch.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox. Go to nordiciusa.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
You're back with Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The Federal Reserve held U.S. interest rates steady Wednesday despite pressure to provide relief. We turn to Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee. Mike, thank you so much for coming back on KMOX this week.
Happy to be here.
So Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has been under a lot of pressure from the Trump administration to make a move. What's the basis for yesterday's decision by the Fed to hold steady?
The basis is basically that Donald Trump hasn't gotten his tariff act together yet. The president has imposed some tariffs on aluminum and steel, but the majority of tariffs are not supposed to come into effect until tomorrow. And there are a number of others that he is still putting in place. He put in some copper tariffs yesterday. So the impact of the tariffs on the economy is almost impossible to judge at this point. So basically what the Fed chair was saying was, we don't have enough information to make a decision about what we're doing. Right now, this morning, we saw the PCE price index that the Fed follows went up significantly on both the headline and the core. And so if you're seeing rising inflation, you don't want to cut rates. And at this point, we're also seeing strength in the labor market. Jobless claims remain low. So at that point, you also don't need to cut rates. So the Fed would prefer to wait and have some idea of what's actually going to happen before they do anything.
Mike, explain for our listeners what would happen if the Fed were to raise rates prematurely.
Well, if they were to raise rates prematurely, that would slow the economy and certainly shock Wall Street. And we would see a definite negative reaction in stocks that might affect consumers. But there's no point in raising rates either at this point. They believe that the rates they have will bring down inflation, that this is going to be a temporary spike in inflation because of the tariffs. But they're just waiting for proof of that. If they cut rates prematurely, it's an open question. They could raise them again, but that would kind of give the markets whiplash, and they're afraid of that. And so they figure that the lowest cost option for them, the risk management option for them, is to sit and wait at the moment.
Sorry, misstated that. I meant to say cut rates instead of raise rates. What would need to change for the outcome of the Fed's next meeting in September to be any different than this meeting this week?
Well, you would probably need to see inflation remain contained rather than inflation going up, because the Fed's first goal is to keep prices stable. And if we're rising towards 3% again on the PCE price index, which is their target, then it's going to be very, very hard for them to make a case for cutting interest rates, unless the economy is falling off a cliff. And for that, what they're measuring is a little bit of consumer spending, which ticked up in June, and they're keeping a very close eye on the unemployment rate. Not the level. We know it's going to probably go up a little bit tomorrow, but the speed with which it goes up. If it gets up to, say, 4.5% by September, then they're going to worry, because that would indicate that companies are worried and they're starting to let people go to save money. And that's the last thing companies want to do. So if that's happening, then it tells them that they may need to cut rates, and they'll be in this awful position of one side of their mandate saying cut and one side of their mandate saying hold or even go up.
I know there were some signals that there would be a little bit of dissent yesterday. You know, what kind of dissent was heard among the Fed as far as what they feel needs to happen next?
Well, the dissent was led by Governor Chris Waller, who is a very well-respected economist who's been right about a lot of things in the past. And his argument is that the economy is weakening underneath it. There are cracks on the employment side, and that the risk management option that would be best would be to cut rates right now. He was joined by Mickey Bowman, who's the vice chair for supervision. The thing they have in common is they were the two Trump appointees to the Federal Reserve. Now, I'm not suggesting either's playing politics, but they may have wanted to look good for the president. But Waller's argument is certainly grounded in solid economics, and you could agree with him if you wanted to. Just the majority did not.
Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate your insight this morning.
No problem.
That is Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee joining us here on Total Information AM. Coming up, why are there so many more traffic fatalities in the United States than other countries, including our northern neighbors? I'll talk with auto reporter Jeff Gilbert.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Charlie Brennan with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What can people expect when they visit one of your doctors at the Audiology Center?
Expect a friendly greeting and a waiting room stocked full of refreshments. But more importantly, a patient should expect that they're treated on an individual basis. We are not retail, and we pride ourselves on our medical model. Each hearing aid is catered towards each patient's unique needs. Expect a full history intake where we get to know you and your personal needs. And then we'll complete a full battery of tests where we can adequately diagnose your hearing health. We want you to understand those results right away. So directly following your tests, we're going to go over everything extensively. Finally, at that time, we'll develop a customized treatment plan built around you as an individual.
The Audiology Center, 3 locations in the St. Louis area, 636-441-7470. The Audiology Center, STL.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BLUE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BLUE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BLUE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The reason many of us hate insurance companies is because some of them act like bullies. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been dealing with these creatures my whole career. Whether it's a workers' comp claim, an auto accident, or a nursing home or medical mishap, the playbook is often the same: deny and delay. We became the largest injury firm in America for a reason. We fight the bullies. They know who we are, and I know it makes a difference for our clients. Just go to forthepeople.com and see our results and our verdicts after those bullies gave us their final offer. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. It's easy to get going. Visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer, or call us on your cell at Pound Law, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brown, how do things look out there?
Well, they look great, Megan, really, for the most part, especially the highways. This traffic reports the service of Jack in the Box. Interstate-wise, we really don't have much in the way of delays. There's a little volume. Again, South 270 from Olive down to Ladue, east and westbound 64, ramping onto the inner belt. The ramp lanes just slow, but the through lanes look okay. Seeing some backed up traffic, or at least heavy traffic, on Tesson Ferry north of the Merrimack up to Hageman. They're doing road work in the area there, so it's busy. Eastbound 38 is a little busy approaching 270. 21 between Kennerly and Schussler also looks a little slow, but interstate-wise, we're good to go. P at Parr Road out in O'Fallon, there's a minor crash. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Spending 2 hours staring at the back of someone's bumper isn't the best way to end your day. So Jack in the Box is giving you a bonus with their new Bonus Jack Combo. Fries, a drink, and a burger with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 patties starting at just $4.49. Get so much more.
We get some needed relief in the forecast. Cloudy, much cooler than recent days. We could see a shower or two today. A high of 78 degrees. Clearing and cooler tonight with a low of 61. And then mostly sunny and pleasant tomorrow. Low humidity a high of 80. Right now, clouds 74 degrees in downtown St. Louis. New research from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety finds the U.S. has a higher highway fatality rate than 29 other wealthy nations. Let's get more now from Jeff Gilbert with our Odyssey sister station, WWJ Radio in Detroit. Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Sure, thanks for calling.
What are we seeing here in the U.S. compared to other countries?
Yeah, this is the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. They looked at a 10-year period in the U.S. and in Canada, and in the U.S., fatalities went up 33%. Canada, during that same time, they went down 18%. And they also found that similar situations happened when you compared the U.S. with other Western countries.
That is a significant difference in our numbers in Canada. What are we talking about in terms of the kind of fatalities? Is this just involving automobiles?
Yeah, this is involving automobiles, and they broke it down into a number of categories: pedestrians, cyclists, young drivers, older drivers, and all the categories. The U.S. had a higher fatality rate.
What are the reasons for that?
Yeah, you know, in Canada, there are different cultures. They will accept more rules there. Red light cameras, automatic enforcement for speeding, things of that nature, which you don't see a lot in the U.S. Also, the Insurance Institute said speed matters. U.S. has higher speed limits in areas. That makes a difference. And they also called for stricter enforcement of drunken driving laws, maybe even dropping the blood alcohol limit.
Jeff, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That is Jeff Gilbert of WWJ Radio in Detroit joining us this morning here on KMOX. We'll get your money report next.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
834 at 104.1 FM KMOX. It is time for your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Denise Pellegrini.
Good morning. President Trump unleashing some trade surprises ahead of tomorrow's August 1st deadline, setting us up for some positivity on Wall Street today after yesterday's mixed close when the Fed left interest rates unchanged. The new tariffs include 15% tariffs on imports from South Korea. Meantime, if you're traveling abroad and doing some shopping, you might have to pay extra to bring your new stuff back into the U.S. President is slapping tariffs on low-value imports from all trading partners, effective August 29 on goods valued at or under $800 that were previously tax-free. This is where it gets confusing. The administration is maintaining exemptions, allowing you to bring back as much as $200 in personal items and receive gifts valued at $100. But the full tariffs will apply for things over that and also for things you buy online that are shipped from overseas through those online sites like Temu and Shein. With your money report, I'm Denise Pellegrini with Bloomberg Business on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
All right, you pick them. You don't have to take my word for it. Lots of 5-star reviews out there for my friends at Rhino Shield because, like me, there are a lot of satisfied Rhino Shield customers. And what does that mean? Well, maybe you're satisfied because it's exactly the color and beautiful, vivid color that you wanted, right, with the trim and all of that. They could do in different colors, just like you would with regular paint. But it lasts for so long. Maybe you're happy because you're not out there scraping or having to pay somebody to scrape and paint every 4 or 5 years. That's what happens with regular paint. Not Rhino Shield. Goes on thick, waterproofs your house completely, protects it from the rays of the sun, gives you an insulation factor. It's fantastic. They've used it on HGTV on unpainted brick, block, aluminum, steel, hardy cement board. It's fantastic on all of it. Call them today for a free evaluation, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com.
Selling your car online sounds easy. Snap a few pics, list a price, then what? Wait weeks? Haggle with strangers? At Suntrip Ford, we actually make it easy to sell your car. Visit Suntrip Ford Kirkwood or Westport, and our expert appraisers will give you a fast, fair offer on the spot. Or skip the trip and get an instant quote at suntripford.com. No guesswork, no games, just the best price. Visit suntripford.com today. Get more at Suntrip Ford.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
The death of artificial food dyes? I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary has announced a new natural food coloring.
Today, I'm announcing that the FDA is approving Gardenia Blue as a natural food dye with natural ingredients. We want natural dyes to be available to food makers and ice cream makers. We don't need to wait for a 10-year randomized controlled trial. Parents are telling us that when a kid has abnormal behavior and they try reducing or eliminating petroleum-based food dyes, they have seen behavior improve.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
There is some evidence that synthetic dyes can affect the behavior of a subset of kids. Red dye number 3, which the FDA wants to eliminate by 2027, has also been shown to cause tumors in rats. However, the levels at which humans are exposed to these artificial food dyes are exceedingly low, and the health risks really pale in comparison with the health risks of the added salt, sugar, and fat in processed foods.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
We have cloudy skies, 74 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri breaks with the White House to push a bill that would ban members of Congress and future presidents and vice presidents and their spouses from holding, buying, or selling stock. The largest dog rescue in more than a decade for the Animal Cruelty Task Force of the Humane Society. Rescuers found a home filled with as many as 150 dogs in filthy conditions in Missouri. Up next, Maria Kina talks with consumer advocates about soaring electric bills in Missouri. First, though, we need to get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing okay, Megan. We just have one little problem that popped up. This traffic report service of Anderson Hospital. It looks like I think it's in the left lane. It's so hard to see, but a crash southbound 170 right before you get to 64. So there's a little bit of a backup there coming down from the Forest Park Parkway on southbound 170. It's right near the U Club Tower, so it's a little bit of a jam up there. Eastbound 64 ramping onto North 170 is a little slow as well. Southbound 270, Olive down to 64 is kind of busy, but the northbound side is thinned out. Doesn't look as bad. Northbound 21 from the Merrimack up to Ackerman, that's where they were doing some road work, so it looks like we're in better shape there. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
This is the forecast we have been hoping for. We'll have a high of 78 degrees today. Quite a relief. Mostly cloudy, obviously cooler. We could see a shower or two in the early part of the day. Clearing and cooler tonight with an overnight low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, pleasant, low humidity. Pretty much the same as today, a high of 80 degrees. And then for Saturday, our weekend looks very nice. Sunshine, a beautiful start to the weekend, a high again around 80. By Sunday, we may see a few clouds, but still pretty pleasant, a high of 84. And then Monday, more clouds than sun, becoming a little more humid. By the time we start back to the work week, a high of 86. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees in Florissant. It's also 73 in St. Peters and 74 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Our Maria Kina has been hearing reports of soaring power costs for customers of Ameren, Missouri. This morning, she asks how much a recent rate hike plays a part.
Ameren's customer advocacy manager, Paige Selby, tells KMOX people's bills went up, quote, a little with the 12% rate hike. In addition to the 12%, what are you talking about as far as little? Because people have seen their bills go up as much as 40 and 50%.
A lot of it is usage. So everybody's using more at this time of year, and
especially the last few weeks.
Missouri's Public Service Commission says there is not anything they can do with anecdotal stories of bills soaring. But an advocacy group, Consumer Services, Sandra Padgett, says there is only so much a family can do to conserve energy, and this is not the only rate hike.
This past legislative session, the Missouri legislature passed Senate Bill 4, and the provisions of that bill, we estimate when the law is fully in effect, will result in an increase in household utility bills of $1,115 per year. And part of the increase will be due to a provision which previously prohibited utilities for charging customers for the cost of power plant until it was fully completed. And this generally comes into play when the utilities want to build a nuclear plant. So utilities generally do not want to bear the burden of funding the cost of building a nuclear plant. Wall Street doesn't want them to do it. We always have to remember that investor-owned utilities are owned by shareholders, and investor-owned utilities have the goal of making a profit for their shareholders. So instead of the utility bearing the burden of that burden will be moved to the ratepayers. I do recommend that people contact their legislator and let them know that they're unhappy about this. This was something that was approved not only by Republicans, but by Democrats too. We also know that there were approximately 90 lobbyists working to make sure that this bill was passed and that it had a lot of support from the governor.
And that takes effect when?
That'll take effect on August 28th.
So people are still going to be probably receiving these astronomical electric bills in addition to this. And this will affect, I take it, gas service as well?
Yeah, this bill also enables gas and water companies to raise their profits. So the part of the bill that is related to utilities being able to shift the burden of building a nuclear power plant to ratepayers, that is called QIP. And then there are two other parts of the bill. One is something called plant in service accounting, which is an accounting mechanism that will enable gas companies to create a higher profit. And then also something called future test year. Previously, when gas and water companies would go to the Missouri Public Service Commission, they had to present the commission with a historic year, a year in the past, one that could be audited by all of the parties. The future test year allows them to come up with a year in the future, which they can create. Our concern is that whenever somebody comes up with a year in the future, that oftentimes is more of a wish list budget than it is a concrete list of expenses that could be audited. So we are concerned that both the plan and service accounting mechanism and the future test year mechanism paired with the construction work in progress provision will raise rates. And when all three of those are in effect and being used by utilities, that could create the increase of $1,115 per household annually.
Well, this is shocking for consumers because what voice do they really have if the legislators are going ahead and signing off on these kind of deals that they know are damaging to the consumer?
Exactly. And this kind of stuff is extremely hard for people to understand. It's complicated, and people don't understand the impact that this legislation has. They won't understand it until they receive their utility bill. And Spire right now has proposed a 15% rate increase, so Spire bills will most likely go up in the next few months. Missouri American Water just had a 25% rate increase approved by the Missouri Public Service Commission. And, I was on an email thread yesterday where one of the nonprofits was looking for assistance for someone with a water bill. And there were probably, I don't know how many people there were on that thread. And there's no Missouri American Water customer assistance, low-income customer assistance program available. Unfortunately, the company proposed a low-income assistance program in the last rate case. That program was objected to by a group called the Midwest Consumers Energy Group, That group includes companies like Walmart. We call them the big box group. They objected to the inclusion, and the Missouri Public Service Commission ultimately rejected it. So that would have created a low-income assistance program for folks who are having a hard time with their water bill. At Consumers Council are very concerned about people turning up their thermostat to a really high temperature, using fan in the hot weather instead of their air conditioning. These can be very, very hard on your health. So if you're having difficulty, contact your local social service agency, your local community action agency. Try to get help best you can with these utility bills. But I do worry that Ackerman continues to make a profit, and it's the social service agencies who are having to step in and help the low-income customers who simply are unable to keep up.
For the low-income, elderly, and disabled, please contact Cool Down St. Louis. All the money they receive goes directly to help the people. There are no administrative costs skimmed off the top of those donations they receive. KMOX also talked with Missouri Senator Carla May, who is very concerned with our report and says she's going to find out how this is happening with people's Ackerman, Missouri electric bills. You can file a complaint on the Public Service Commission hotline, 1-800-392-4211. We will have this information at KMOX.com. Also, KMOX will continue to follow this story and provide you with updates. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Coming up on Total Information AM, Illinois nursing homes get poor scores in a new national ranking. I'll talk to an advocate for nursing home residents.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918-615.
Get ready, St. Louis. Two acclaimed performers will headline a summer finale on the Muni stage Thursday, August 28th. International music icon Diana Ross and multi-Grammy Award-winning artist John Baptiste. And this is your chance to win a premium VIP experience to see the show. VIP includes a pair of box seats, a pair of VIP pre-party tickets, free drinks at the intermission bar, and a free parking pass. Register now online at KMOX.com/contest for your chance to win.
The Chris and Amy Show will be at Forest Park this Friday, broadcasting live from 9 a.m. to noon. Why are we hanging out at the park?
Because it finally won't be 1,000 degrees?
No, we're teaming up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical to do 100 acts of kindness.
Yeah, we figured we'd go to the park and do something nice like hand out water or suckers or something. I'm probably going to wear shorts.
So come say hi at the Forest Park Visitor Center this Friday from 9 to noon.
We should do lemonade instead of water.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. A recent analysis from the magazine U.S. News and World Report ranked Illinois 47th out of 50 states for nursing home quality. It took inspection reports and staffing levels into consideration. I asked Kelly Richards, the Illinois State Long-Term Care Ombudsman, to put the report into context.
Rating systems and rankings are helpful and insightful tools that we can use, but they only give us a piece of the puzzle. And the low rating in the U.S. News and World Report is concerning, but not surprising. In 2024, the most frequent complaints received by ombudsmen were due to the lack of requests for assistance. So often this looks like complaints due to call lights not being answered in a timely manner. Often the root cause of longer wait times is really the lack of staffing.
Now, when we see a ranking like this, does that necessarily mean that all facilities in the state of Illinois are poor?
No, it does not.
When it comes to the majority of facilities in the state, how good a job do they do when it comes to resident care?
I mean, it varies from home to home. As ombudsmen, we want the homes to exceed the minimum standards, right? And so we're always pushing the homes to try to provide the best care that they possibly can for the residents that they serve.
Give us an example of what life is like for residents in some of the most poorly rated nursing homes in Illinois.
That would be very hard for me to do because I don't live there. It's challenging with short staffing. You may find very long wait times for care, which can be very problematic. Wait times are issues. Food, getting their food timely, getting their medicines passed to them. When you have low staffing, all of these things are impacted.
Do you think Illinois needs better inspection and enforcement at nursing homes?
Well, what I will say is I'm pleased that over the last several years, the Illinois Department of Public Health has really worked to increase the number of surveyors that they have. However, those surveyors are limited by the regulations. And where the regulations are weak, enforcement will be weak.
What are some of the other factors that create such a big disparity between facilities?
There are a lot of different things that are at play. Staffing is a huge thing in terms of, what the owners will invest into the home makes a lot of difference in how residents are cared for. You're going to constantly see a direct correlation with staffing and care. So whereas you got low staffing, you're going to have significant care issues.
What do you think is needed to try to improve the quality of care in Illinois nursing homes?
Well, in my experience, it's often that the success starts at the top with these homes, right? Administration creating a positive work environment for the direct care staff goes a long way to retain a consistent staff, which in turn creates relationships and many positive outcomes for residents. The men and women providing direct care in our long-term care homes are some of the hardest workers I've ever seen, right? They have, their jobs are very demanding, their jobs are very difficult, and they come with low salaries. However, they are there for the right reasons to take care of the residents. Too often, it is a desire for profit over people that drives this huge disparity that you asked about. If you look at studies on private equities, you'll see the correlation between the private equity and poor care. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. That is Kelly Richards, the Illinois State Long-Term Care Ombudsman, joining us this morning on Total Information AM. And of course, in the last legislative session, long-term care facilities operating in Illinois did try to push for better reimbursement rates for Medicaid recipients. Brown University in the Ivy League says it will pay $50 million in a deal with the Trump administration. Art Sanders reports it will restore lost federal research funding and end investigations into alleged discrimination.
The money will be paid out over 10 years to Rhode Island workforce development organizations. University also agreed to several concessions in line with President Donald Trump's political agenda. Brown will adopt the government's definition of male and female, for example, and must remove any consideration of race from the admissions process. Brown's president said the deal preserves the school's academic independence. The terms include a clause saying the government cannot dictate curriculum or the content of academic speech at Brown. It's the latest deal between an Ivy League school and the Trump administration, which has used its control of federal funding to push for reforms at colleges Trump says are overrun by liberalism and anti-Semitism. The administration also has launched investigations into diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, saying they discriminate against white and Asian American students.
Again, that is Art Sanders reporting. Coming up tomorrow morning on Total Information AM, politicians want to divvy up the state of Illinois again. We're going to talk about what's different this time when we talk about redistricting with John Shaw, director of the Paul Simon Public Policy Institute at SIU Carbondale. Checking that forecast for today. Again, it's going to be a much cooler day today. Cloudy with some showers, a high of 78, clearing and cooler tonight with a low of 61. So finally some good sleeping weather. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny, pleasant, low humidity, a high of 80 degrees. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 74 degrees downtown at the Arch.
This segment, Cancer Center Spotlight, how innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Dr. John DePercio.
Patients have come here from all over the United States and, in fact, all over the world to get evaluated and treated for this treatment. We hope that this can be continued, that we demonstrate in a clinical trial that it's safe and effective, and that ultimately it will be approved by the FDA so it's available to everyone in the world.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best